2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers podcast.
And you already know why you come to this show. You come here because this is your therapy session for days like today when the cardiac cats have put you into cardiac arrest and you're wanting to pull your hair out, dude. Welcome back to another edition of the C3 postgame show. Today's going to be a little bit different. Tony Dunn was stuck in some traffic, so we're not going to be able to have the cat calls today, or at least I wouldn't be able to show them to you without revealing everyone's number to the whole world. So in order to make up for that, I've got some good buddies joining me that you might know and love, man. I'll go through and introduce them real quick. Kevin Boshoven. Kevin, what's up, dude?
Not much, man. Just disappointment.
Super disappointing. Greg, the Bat Daddy here as always. What's going on, man?
Man, after a game like that, this is all I got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crack open a cold one, man. We got a long show to talk about this. My man, Drew, all the way up there in Maine. Drew, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Another Sunday, another heartbreaker for Carolina.
Yeah, man, you ain't never lied, dude. You ain't never lied. And then joining us from the side of the road, man, that's real dedication. It's Nick Montedero. Nick, what's up, brother?
Dude, let me tell you something, man. It has been an interesting 350 miles so far. I had the game on the phone. Shout out to Panthers Access on Instagram for posting the link, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to watch the show or watch the game. But, man, let me tell you something. Cardiac Cats lived up to their name, man. It was one hell of a game. But, man, I have a lot to say about it.
They definitely did, man. We have so much to talk about. But, listen, you guys already know we're going to do it with the best Panther fans and all of YouTube. I'm talking about Tin Tizzy, Ryan Ingram, Justin, JD54. You already know. What's up, brother? Blake Bettis, Edward Moore, Brad Holt, ATX19, Karen Choi, Sarah Taylor. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, y'all. Let's roll. The Carolina Panthers lose a heartbreaker in overtime. What was the final score? 28-35? 28-34. The Panthers looked offensively inept through 3 quarters of football. Once again, there is another third quarter with no offensive touchdowns by this Carolina Panther football team, save from a special teams block driven in for a touchdown, which may have saved Chase Blackburn's job. That's yet to be seen. But, man, this is just such a disappointing day. Everything from our offensive line to Robbie Anderson dropping a million different passes, DJ Moore fumbling the football, giving them the ball back. There's so much blame to go around. Greg, we'll go to you first, man. What's with this football team, man? Why did the Panthers lose today?
The Panthers lost today because they were incapable of being consistent. Every time that they would start to mount something that looked like anything, which generally wasn't much at all at the beginning of the game, that they would just continue to falter. I still stand behind Sam. I still think he's a good quarterback. He had a very, very bad first 3.5 quarters of the game, to be truly honest with you. He played pretty terrible, but he also had some pretty terrible offensive line. He had a pretty good amount of drops from the wide receivers that I feel like could have changed the game up quite a bit. You complete about 6 or 7 of those passes. You're looking at maybe 100 more yards, possibly another touchdown. You're not looking so bad, but I'm not taking all the blame away from Sam at all. Defense played really, really well, like they have been throughout the rest of the game. Just kind of fell off at the end, which I understand because they're probably pretty tired. A lot of 3 and outs, and this offense is not impressive. I think they can get it done based on what the defense can do. But Joe Brady, I'm sorry, everybody thinks that he can be a head coach. You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, what has this guy done? The play calling is so vanilla and so terrible, and that they need to fix the offensive line before they can get anything else done, and they're not doing that. So
Preach, brother, preach.
They're definitely not doing it. Grim Reaper with the $5 saying, feeling lost at this point. Keep pounding C3. And listen, man, I've got 3 people joining me from the Friday free-for-all, okay? Mm-hmm. Your boy was the only one with enough balls to just call it like I sees it, man. I picked the Vikings to win this because I didn't think this offensive line deserved me to pick them. I had no reason to believe that this offensive line was going to be able to stand up to the Vikings' defensive front. And I was right. I was absolutely right, man. And this is going to be a tough week going forward because now I feel like people are finally starting to really kind of have the blinds pulled open on them. And now we're kind of seeing what the real potential of the Carolina Panthers is right now. This is a very bad offense. And even when there is pass protection, it doesn't last very long. And if it does last, Sam Darnold is being inaccurate, or Robbie Anderson is dropping passes, or Chuba Hubbard is dropping passes. Dude, it's a comedy of errors up and down from start to finish. And there's so much blame to go around. It's like it's so many different things that we have to start being very realistic about what we think this Panthers team is going to be able to do from here on out. That was just terrible. Kevin, could Joe Brady have done anything to fix this offensive performance, or what's the deal here?
Honestly, I say no, because their defensive back smothered our receivers. Like, I didn't see anyone open at all. I don't know if it's route running, maybe play calling could get them off, but I didn't see anyone open. Patrick Peterson was locked down today. Once he left the game, that's when we had a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson didn't help anything, man.
Oh no,
Robbie Anderson, he was 1 for 6 in the first half or something like that. Yeah. It was insane. I will be the first person to say that man did not deserve the paycheck that he got. We should have given that money to DJ Moore.
Started, because you weren't going to get last year's production, and that's as high as his value is going to be. You can't get shit for him now.
Yeah, and by the way, real quick, Sarah Taylor with the $20 love bomb. Thanks you so much, Sarah.
That's it's always
we never ask for money, but it's always appreciated. But thanks you very much. Here's to a 98 drive that led to overtime chances. And okay. So, is there any? Are any of you proud of our valiant comeback at the end to try and bring it into overtime? Was there any moral victories to be had here, or did the Panthers just delay the inevitable and ultimately too little, too late?
Well, there is something to be said about it, because last year Teddy Bridgewater never would have made moves like that, and while Sam Darnold did not necessarily play the best today, Sam Darnold showed that he can come back. Okay. Well, while we didn't end up getting the job done and winning the game, the fact that he was able to make those runs the way that he did, that impressed me. And I've been saying, at least to myself, and I was saying all game, I want to see Sam Darnold play pissed off. I want to see him actually get pissed off and show that he actually cares. Like, he shows that he cares, but let's face it, when someone plays pissed off, they play entirely different than how they normally play. And I want to see Sam play pissed off at some point. And I think we might have actually seen it towards the end of the game.
There's no Steve Smith on this team.
That's true.
No. Hey,
Dante's kind of close.
Yeah.
Real quick, shout out to AU Link. He says, we got to get better. The O-line was terrible again. We have to get better. I mean, but how do we get better? Because, I mean, there's a bunch of different things. Listen, if you hate Sam Darnold, so Casey Phoenix has traded for Watson. Okay, Watson's still going to be behind this terrible offensive line. Is Robbie Anderson going to be able to catch passes for Deshaun?
Now, Watson's hasn't been suspended yet, so he's probably not even going to play.
Exactly, man. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. What changes are the Carolina Panthers going to be able to make right now to actually be a better football team?
Yeah.
Like
quarterback design runs.
I agree 100%. Why would they not running the ball more
much
today
earlier?
Yes.
Yeah. Why haven't we been running Sam Darnold much more, especially when the pocket is breaking down? I don't understand, man. There's no help from the play calling. They're not able to really run the ball effectively. And then whenever we had to throw the football, not only were our receivers dropping passes left and right, but yeah, Greg, you made the point, man, or whoever made the point that our receivers were covered.
Yeah.
Okay. The Vikings defensive backs, they were just shutting us down, man. They had better coverage. They played aggressive, and they were rewarded for it, man. I mean, I know we came back at the end, but anyone who has been watching the Panthers through week 6 could easily predict that this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, two things. First of all, subscriber shame. I know CK's not here to do it, but 104 people watching, 31 thumbs up. Y'all give us a thumbs up. Do something.
Hit that thumbs
you like
up,
the show.
y'all.
Hit the thumbs up. It's real simple. Just click the button. Two, the only reason that you would be disappointed in the Panthers' last drive, that was a 98-yard drive to put us in overtime, the way they finished the game, was because we lost. If we'd have won, of course you'd have said, oh, I love the vigor. I love how well they did. I love the comeback, the fire, and the desire. But we lost, so it's hard to say that. You say you're denying the inevitable, but I would much rather have that than have him just give up. I mean, we complain with people complained before about Cam Newton going to the sideline, putting a towel over his head. Is that what you would rather have done? Was go do that rather than, I know we lost in overtime, but at least we lost in overtime. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we did, but it's like going forward, what's going to be able to get better here? What are the Panthers going to be able to learn from this performance that would make them do something different against the Giants? And we're on the road next week. So now we're not even able to close out home games. Like, one, not only do the Panthers not have a home field advantage, we let every other fan of every other football team come out here and be the dominant fan base in our own fucking stadium. But then on top of it, man, it's like the team doesn't have any benefits to playing at home, man. This is the worst third quarter football team in the NFL by far, man. I think Karen Choi, it was in the chat room, said the Panthers have had 7 points in the third quarter in 6 games now.
This was the 7 points. This game.
That's abysmal.
And it was because of special teams. It wasn't even because of our offense. It was because of special teams. And shout out to Frankie Louvu, because that man, he is playing for a contract, and he deserves one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is, man. Listen, Frankie Louvu has been wonderful on our football team. I was impressed with Jermaine Carter Jr. today. I felt like Jermaine Carter was flying around, made a bunch of big-time stops. And, dude, Dante Jackson.
Yeah.
Dante Jackson.
It's all over the chat room right now, too. Gilmore's playing next week, too. So with
Dante Jackson is the heart and soul of our football team.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He just is.
Although while he had a lot of really great plays today, He did have one really bad miss.
Tackle.
Really, really, really bad miss.
Yeah, but what am I supposed to?
It only resulted in like a 30-yard gain, which I know 30 yards is big, but I don't even know if they scored on that drive or not.
Yeah, and true. But am I supposed to beat him over the football or beat him over the head with the football when he was the only one making big time plays for the defense today? It felt like. I mean,
probably some great plays.
Dante Jackson is playing with passion. And not a lot of other teams not a lot of other players on our football team are.
But guys, where's Brian Burns?
Say it, man.
He might be hurt. I think
say it, man. Say it.
If he's hurt, then he doesn't need to be out there. I mean, he was going against a rookie, and we heard nothing. We heard crickets.
Here's the thing to remember about our defensive line, at least on the ends, okay? On one side, you have Hassan Reddick, who has played absolutely amazing once again, okay? But then on the other side, you have Brian Burns, okay? So they're going to focus on one of the two guys. Now, Brian Burns should have come out and played a little bit more than he has, and he really hasn't stepped up this season the way that we thought that he would, or at least the way that he did in the beginning of the season. But, at the end of the day, we have two fast guys and only one of them is going to hit home. I'm okay with that. If Brian Burns gets more attention than Hassan Reddick does, and Hassan Reddick can actually get home and make impact plays, I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, you got to have somebody that gets double teamed, and it's going to be Burns.
It was quite a few plays that he was 1-on-1 with that rookie tackle, and he didn't win.
He almost had that sack. Where he beat that
almost
had a sack.
You're right. He always almost.
And how many times are we putting the word "almost" together with Brian Burns this year?
I agree.
Exactly.
I mean, how many times has he almost been in on a big time game changing sack, and he's just a $8 short, man? It continues to happen to him this season.
Yeah. Most of his sacks come when him coming in and being unblocked.
Yeah, and that's true, man. And listen, are we finding out that this football team just isn't as good from top to bottom as we thought it was? Because I said at the start of this year that it's a boom or bust season. The Panthers are either going to be really good or we're going to be really bad. And right now we look like a really bad football team. And even some of the guys that we thought were up for a big-time contract, like Brian Burns, like DJ Moore, they're not necessarily showing why they are deserving of a big-time contract, especially at the positions that they play. Receiver and defensive end, you're talking big-time change right there. And
good. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, I think that DJ Moore maybe not this game, but I think throughout the season, he's proved that he's a number one and he deserves a big contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's like the number 4 or 5 receiver in yards this year, I think. Like he's well, maybe not after last week, but he was up there. Let's put it that way. He's proven his worth for me at least. Brian Burns has as well, but
2 games, but overall, he is a true number one.
Yeah,
we just don't
Brian
have
Burns is the king of almost. The king of almost, Brian Burns is. I love him to death, but he's the king of almost. He always disrupts the quarterback.
That's always a good thing, too.
It's hard to get that.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It is. I'd rather have that than not any penetration at all.
It's
weird. It sounded really weird.
So,
but this last drive we just had, the last drive in overtime, they got absolutely no pressure on Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
None. Where were the blitzes? Where was the pressure? There was absolutely. He sat back in the pocket. He scanned the field and he picked them apart.
And they were too worried about the coverage. They were too worried about them getting picked apart that they wanted to have extra defensive backs and extra players back there covering.
They did,
not realizing
that got picked apart.
Kirk Cousins is a surgeon. Is a surgeon when you give him a pocket and receivers that can catch the ball. Come on, man.
So that's why you have to blitz him.
I agree. They should have blitzed 100%.
So Matt Rule today said Sam Darnold needed a little help from his friends and didn't get any.
True.
He also said to the football team, Matt Rule said afterwards that they're not the type of team that can win games without executing properly. Guys have to make plays when they have the opportunity. And you know what that's a roundabout way of saying?
Absolutely nothing.
Missed opportunities, y'all.
Yeah, I was saying because that's true for any team. What he just said is true for any team.
Ron Rivera never left this fucking football team. I'm here to tell you. We're still talking about missed opportunities. We're still talking about terrible offensive lines. We're still talking about a team that doesn't play its young football players. It's so annoying, man.
Calling 2 timeouts back to back.
Oh my gosh! I
cannot.
What a bonehead move.
Chris Webber 2.0.
Yes. Yes.
So I had a tweet with his response to that. I'm trying to find it, but there was some justification for it. But man, and then how about this? Robbie Anderson was targeted 11 times.
He was forcing the ball to him.
He had 3 catches for 11 yards
and a touchdown.
Although one of them helped
easiest
the overtime.
Yeah. I will say he may have been forcing some of them in there to him, but he put those balls. I mean, I didn't see a pass to Robbie Anderson that wasn't catchable or that wasn't put in a pretty good position. So, not saying that Sam threw every ball perfect because he had some overthrows today and some missed throws, but to Robbie at least, I saw a bunch of drop passes that would have been decent gains or at least first downs had he caught the ball.
Did Sam Darnold hung Terrence Marshall Jr. out the dry on?
What about say? Is he all right? Did he have like a concussion?
He had a concussion.
Yeah, well, last time I saw he was in concussion protocol.
How is that an illegal hit though, y'all? He drove with his shoulder into his shoulder
to the helmet.
Yeah, they flagged it.
It looked like it was the shoulder.
Yeah, he hit him in the helmet. That was his shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was I don't know, football hit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my group was football hit.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of people are saying the stadium was pretty much 50-50 Panther fans, 50-50 Vikings fans.
Yep. I heard the Viking chant on TV.
Yeah, dude, I remember being so disappointed that we didn't have more fans in the stadium just because I wanted to hear a chorus of boos. Boo! Like I wish that we had that in the stadium so that the coaches and David Tepper could hear how loudly disapprove of the bullshit that we're putting down on this football field, man.
I see that picture on Twitter with them going around. He just looks miserable.
You mean
David Tepper?
David Tepper, yeah, he's big time mad, man. I might be able to pull that up real quick here. Yeah, I got it.
So, see, guys, I think what we should do is we really need to start pumping Joe Brady up.
Heavy.
We really need to pump him up heavy. Because then some team out there is going to go, oh, great, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, look at
get him off our hands.
David Tepper's having a real fun time right here, isn't he?
Hey, chat.
Maybe we can
meme out of this.
Hey, maybe we can pull Matt Rule, start talking positive about him, so that way we trade him.
Right.
Dude.
That's the kid.
A bunch of people already saying
think Matt Rule gives our defense shit this week?
Oh man, I listen, but this week I think a lot of it. Our defense doesn't deserve a pass this week. I mean, again, I know our offense never helps them out in the second quarter, but I think you mentioned it earlier, Kevin. Like across the middle of the field, man, they were feasting on us across the middle of the football field today.
And that's AJ Bouye's territory, right?
Yeah, I feel like third downs, the Panthers were not very good on third down. And then I didn't feel like Dalvin Cook ran rampant on us, but he had those select few isolated plays where Dalvin Cook would just gash us. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, this is the same football team from last year that can't stop the run, that can't stop passes across the middle. I mean, it's really looking pathetic here at this point, boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was the time of possession?
It just gets harder after these next two games.
It does.
And we did give away 3 turnovers. I mean, it's not like the offense a lot.
Yeah.
So what was the time of possession split? Because I'm curious as to that. You know, I feel like the defense was on the field a lot more than our offense was.
Yeah, because we got that special teams turnover, and our defense were right back on the field.
Yep.
They're pretty much shutting them out.
And the last touchdown drive was just a quick run down the field. And on top of that, hold on, 5 minutes left of the fourth quarter. That's when we finally decide to hurry up.
Yeah.
Where the hell has that been?
Yeah.
I've
the
been
last
saying
6
it
weeks?
all
You did that
along,
with
man.
Dallas.
We need to
You
be
have been.
faster. Yeah. We need
You
to be
have
faster.
been, and
yeah.
it seems like when we actually do hurry up is when we actually make progress going down the field. So why don't we do that more often? Keep the defense on their heels. Play the hurry up. Use it to our advantage.
Remember us saying the same thing when Cam Newton was here? Just let's hurry up. Let's hurry up. Let's do some different shit.
And I'm
You've been saying that for a long time.
He's got to hit the jugs machine. He
does.
He's not a pass catcher. That's for damn sure.
Is that?
That's for damn sure, man. And then, we started Chuba Hubbard dropping passes.
Yeah, he's not pass catcher.
Time of possession was 37-38 for Minnesota, 26-34 for us. So they beat us by.
We saw interception.
How about this is the second week in a row that Matt Rule has tried to catch a pass on the sideline and drop it. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't say shit to Robbie Anderson. And then number two,
didn't he coach Robbie Anderson? So that's maybe why he's dropped.
He did.
Oh, you know what?
There you go.
That's what it is.
It's coach hereditary to drop the drop passing gene down.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, shout out to Corey Broomery. He says Tep is going to make changes sooner than ever. The entire coaching staff is overrated. If we continue down this path, Fitz will be the lone survivor. And listen, frankly, if you want to have a discussion about that, we did that whole process backward. You should hire your general manager before you hire your head coach, and your general manager should have a large say-so in who your head coach is. But here we are again, like one of those other football teams, doing it backward, doing it the opposite way that you should do things.
You think he's elbowing Pepper?
Do I think what?
He's elbowing Temper right there. He's like, see, I could have picked our guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm telling you what, Matt Rule doesn't have a lot of love on Panthers Twitter right now. People in our very own chat room are saying, fire the man. I mean,
the USC job is open.
Hey, the LSU job is
LSU.
Yeah, the LSU job is open, man.
Unfortunately, guys, the one voice that actually counts is still a big Matt Rule fan, and that's David Tepper.
Yeah.
Hey, the Las Vegas job is open too. Send them there, man.
Yeah.
No, that's why I want Joe Brady to
Too soon. Sorry.
Too soon.
I want to see both of them go there.
Send Joe Brady to Vegas and send him to USC. Hell, Brady could go to LSU actually.
Yeah, that's what we like.
Bergeron is out after this season.
Yeah,
you kidding me?
Brady,
they wouldn't take him back over there. They wouldn't take him back over there. He was just the third down passing coordinator or something like that back when he was there. And then he left to go to the NFL, and now he's going to come back after 2 years. If I was LSU, I'd be like, yeah, no, you haven't proven yourself.
I mean, maybe they're looking at it though, like LSU offense fell off a cliff as soon as he left. So I don't know. Maybe they would want him back, but even still, who are the Panthers gonna hire as an offensive coordinator to do this better?
Me.
Like, if we're gonna hire some offensive guru, that's going to be someone that's going to be in line for a head coaching job.
Exactly.
Eric Bieniemy's not going to come here to be an offensive coordinator. That's not happening. Kellen Moore isn't going to do a lateral move and come to the Panthers.
That's not even a lateral move. Offensive
coordinator.
No,
that's
not even a lateral move. Yeah.
I hate to say this, guys, but if Joe Brady happened to actually leave, the only thing Matt Rule is going to do is elevate the quarterback's coach.
Yeah.
You're probably right. Look, Joshua says Adam Gase is available. Okay. No.
Adam Gase.
No.
Wow.
Brian Gamble from Buffalo or Gable from Buffalo.
Matt Rule, unfortunately, he's so much like Ron Rivera. It's sickening. That's exactly what he would do. Brady would leave, and he would elevate the quarterback's coach to the offensive coordinator position.
We can get Clemson's offensive coordinator.
Oh, no, we could just not do that, too.
Tony Elliott?
Hey, man,
hit Cody while he's down.
Dude, it's so miserable, man, that both of my teams have this fucking abysmal offense.
I've been dealing with that for the last 5 years.
That is true.
Been dealing for the better part of 25 years.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, is this defense? What do you guys think about this defense now? Is it going to be enough, or do we expect this just to continue to get worse and worse? And let me throw this into the question, and I'll leave this up there for whoever wants it. What does Stephon Gilmore do to change our offense this week when we play the Giants?
Maybe he gets a pick six and get a touchdown. That's about it.
More than our offense, right?
And it does nothing for our really.
It does nothing for our offense, but defense, they'll stick him out there on the island and say, "Go do what you do."
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think they're going to have a hard time pulling Keith Taylor off the field. Keith Taylor has actually shown me a lot lately.
So here's my thing on Stephon Gilmore, man. You know, he's been with the Pats for the last 5 years, 6 years, even longer.
Has it been that
long? You know,
yeah,
so
I don't know.
A while.
Yeah. I know it's been a while, you know. So, and the dude's played lights out. So I'm hoping that with him coming down to Carolina, that he can tell our coaching staff, which shouldn't need to happen, but let's say someone needs to tell him what needs to happen on a team to win. Because our coaching staff is just lost. Our defense, while it looks great in some aspects, in other aspects, you know, we let up big plays. Today there was a lot of plays that never should have happened. You know, and I'm kind of appalled that our defense played the last 2
weeks.
By the way, the Carolina Panthers today
you're right.
gave up 571 yards on defense. They gave up 570.
It seemed like that a lot.
Right. That's the point, because our defense most of this game felt like they did enough to keep us in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our defense always feels that they're the ones playing the better football. And it reminds me of last year when PJ Walker came in against Detroit. We actually had an aggressive offense, and then our defense pitched a shutout. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but complimentary football is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real thing. Your defense has to get turnovers, and then offense has to get points off those turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
When your defense makes big-time stops, your offense has to reward them by keeping them off the football field.
Right.
And the Panthers cannot do that to save their lives, man.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my biggest worry about Gilmore?
Sure.
When have you ever known Belichick to get rid of a player whenever they were still amazing?
Tom Brady.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you that. One for 26. I'll give you that. But seriously, doesn't he usually get rid of a player about a year or two for who?
In all fairness, if you talk to Bucs fans, they'll also say Gronk too.
Gronk. Yeah, I was about to say Gronk.
Gronk retired.
Well, Gronk was going to get traded.
That's how he left. That's how he left New England.
He retired because he was going to get traded
to Detroit.
Yeah. I'd retire too.
But do you think Gronk would be the Gronk he is anywhere else without Tom Brady? And which, by the way,
I don't even care for Gronk right now. So no.
He only came back for Tom anyway.
Yep.
You know,
well,
go ahead.
I will say this though. Part of Bill Belichick's philosophy is that I'm going to give up on players a little bit too early than a little bit too late.
Right.
You know,
which is what worries me about Gilmore.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's what David Gettleman wanted to do with Greg Olsen and Thomas Davis, and essentially that's what got him fired.
Mac Jones just got fucked up.
Good.
I'm sure.
Oh my God, he took a hit.
I can't wait to see him get fucked up in person week 9.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Cowboys. Dallas just got a fumble after they hit him.
Nice.
But
so, guys, who loses their spot in the secondary next week?
Yeah, I mean, Pride looked good covering. I mean,
how about Sean Chandler being juked out of his shoes by a fullback?
Oh my God!
A fullback, dude. That was bad, man. That was so bad.
But Sean Chandler's not always out there. So I'm just saying, Gilmore's going to be a starter. So I mean, who's losing their spot?
Well, and then that's
Dante. You're going to take Dante out?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's another thing.
Are you taking? Are you taking AJ Boye out?
CJ Henderson wasn't even on the field for us today.
Well, he was hurt. He had been in the green jersey all week for like a shoulder injury.
Well, you're going to take when CJ comes back.
Well, the only thing I think that we could hope for from a defensive perspective is that we have 2 man corners that look like they're going to come back next week, and that's going to be CJ Henderson and Stephon Gilmore. Maybe that allows us to pin our ears back a little bit more and send some extra blitzes. I don't know. But
we were playing.
Somebody's got to come off the field.
We were playing quite a bit of zone today too. That's one thing that we haven't really touched on. You know, our defense is built off of man, and we were playing quite a bit of zone today. Not all of it was zone.
Picking that.
They were. We should not have been playing zone today.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the type of receivers to pick it apart with Thielen and Jefferson, and again, I feel like at the end of every post-game show, there's like 50 more bits of credit that we never give to Dante Jackson that he's deserving of, but we're just talking about how terrible this offense is so much of the time. Dude, Dante Jackson has some big-time tackles. He punched the ball out. Dude, the peanut punch is alive and well in Carolina through Dante Jackson. The guy is playing aggressive, man. He's balling out, flying around on the football field. He's the heart and soul of our defense. I know I said it before, but Dante Jackson is the heart and soul of our defense, and he's the reason, I think, why we play so aggressive and so hard. When another player makes a play, Dante Jackson is always the first one flexing in his face, all pumped up and excited about it. Dude,
am I the only one who thinks Jeremy Chin's having a down year?
I've heard him some pretty
down year, but you got to remember, Jeremy Chin caused the fumble against Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, though. I mean, he's not been awful, but he is like, I haven't heard his name a lot.
But he also played the thing too a lot last year too. You have to remember that.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing too. Whenever you have 2 touchdowns in one game last year,
exactly,
it's pretty easy to have a down year compared to your rookie year.
And he's a safety.
Exactly. You know, so it's to be expected that he's not necessarily showing up in the highlight reel as much as he was last year. Because last year nobody knew what the game plan for him. Now that he's kind of playing mostly one position, it's a lot easier to game plan for him, but it's still not the easiest, you know? So on top of that, our front 7 has, I mean, other than really today, they weren't necessarily the best today. Our front 7 has been what mostly everybody's been talking about when it comes to our defense. But about Dante Jackson, here's one thing that worries me. The last 3 years, you know, we haven't necessarily been crazy high on Dante Jackson. And now all of a sudden he's on a contract here and he's playing lights out. Is that because of our front 7, or is that because it's a contract year?
Well, I mean, I don't know. All you can do is judge what he's out there doing. Like, I don't know if it's just because it's a contract year. I mean, this is also the same thing that happened to Josh Norman. Josh Norman was pretty much subpar most of his career. He made some good plays the year
before. No man got that speed
in 2014, but 2015 was really his claim to fame.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, well, you all know what happened after that. But Dante Jackson,
go to Washington. No.
I tell you what, I'd rather have Dante Jackson on the team next year than Robbie Anderson.
I mean, I said trade Robbie Anderson at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but Robbie Anderson's a rule guy, so he's not going anywhere.
No, but they should have.
No, and we just signed him too, so it would be stupid for us to trade him right now.
Yeah,
because then we'd have to pay for the guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Panthers Aren't Kings asked me how do I think the O-line played Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan looked pretty terrible. Which
you at least wear number 23.
By the way, it must suck if your name is Michael Jordan. That has to suck, doesn't it? Because then everything that you do, you're compared to one of the greatest all-time people ever, dude. That's.
I'll say LeBron James Jr.
It's like your name being Michael Bolton, right?
LeBron James Jr. is kind of awful too.
Dude, Michael Jordan. Yeah, true. But at least you can say that's his dad.
Exactly. He can go, I'm Bronny.
Yeah. But
back of that jersey says James Jr.
Listen, I didn't expect Michael Jordan to be a good football player. Okay, this is someone that they just brought in because they panicked and they've been hemorrhaging at the offensive line position. So they've been doing everything to try and rectify this situation.
But they give him a jersey, and they wouldn't even give Deontay Brown a jersey. How is that possible?
Isn't Deontay Brown injured?
So now
but he hasn't been all season.
Yeah, but this isn't a brand new problem. The offensive interior has been trash, continues to be trash,
and the rest of the NFL knows it.
Dude, it's so dumb, man.
They're making us so desperate. So we need somebody.
Dude, the worst thing right now about this Panthers football team, believe it or not, is how outdated the philosophies are from some of our front office positions, man. When it comes to arm length at left tackle, when it comes to coaches choosing to not play young players, who we decide to sign. Dude, frankly, I mean, I know fans don't want to hear me talk about this yet, but if it starts to look like the Panthers are on a real downward spiral, I'm interested to see if Fitterer does set himself up for the draft. Does he trade away Robbie Anderson? Does he trade away?
I wonder if he's already done that by putting Christian McCaffrey on IR.
Exactly.
Let's face it. They gotta know that the second half of our schedule is going to be an absolute nightmare for us. Mm-hmm. So why not put him on IR right now? So that way he can actually rest up and be healthy for maybe the last 5 games of the season.
Yeah,
or because that hamstring injury is going to stick around.
And J-Dub in the chat. I'm sorry, dude. I don't believe it, man. I don't believe that Deontay Brown being overweight is that much of a fucking problem.
Oh, I'm thinking
no, he's talking about Deontay Brown.
Yeah,
and Deontay
Brown. Deontay Brown at Alabama was a people mover at 370 pounds. Like, why are they so intent on wanting him to be a 330-pound guard? Like, that might never happen for that man.
Do you think like some guys just don't practice well and that's why they don't get to start? Like, some guys are just game guys. Like, they can't put on that high motor unless it's a game.
Right now, listen, based on what I've seen from the coaches thus far, I have no reason to not believe that it's just ineptitude for why some of our younger guys haven't seen the field right now. I have no reason to believe it's any other reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
I mean, Jeremy Chin was a 3rd rounder, and they started him right away.
2nd rounder. We traded back up into this. Yeah, we traded back up into the 2nd round to get him.
That's right.
But I see your point. See your point. You're good. That's a good point.
Yeah. And again, people. If we're tanking, what are we tanking for?
Nothing. This draft is awful coming up.
Are we tanking for a quarterback or a left tackle? Oh, are we tanking for a guard? Like, what are we doing? The Panthers have 1 pick in the top 100 of the draft.
I think Bat Daddy's right. I honestly do. I think we're going to do something to either get a high 1st round pick or a second high 1st round pick. I mean, I think we're already going to have a high 1st round pick, but I think all the solid O linemen are going to be gone by the time it gets to us.
I think we're trading down out of the 1st round.
That would be stupid. That would just be stupid. I'm sorry. That would cause me to lose all my faith in the coaching staff.
Knowing
the fact that we passed. Go ahead.
I would say, knowing Fitterer, I just feel like he's going to trade down and eventually trade out of the 1st round.
He might. It's a possibility. I mean, but when you have so many holes on this team, what if we're dealing with a top 16 pick? Like, you can't trade back. Like, what are you trading back for? I mean, we need so many different things on this team. Yeah, maybe you can slide backward and hope that you find a few gems. But as of right now, that hadn't worked out for us too well. How's Terrace Marshall Jr. doing this season? And again, I'm not going to write him off after his rookie season, but is he
because we're stuck with Robbie Anderson at second?
Is Terrace Marshall Jr. more useful to us right now than a left tackle would have been early in the second round? No. How about Brady Christensen? That's our third round pick. What use has he been to the Panthers this season?
Did he play today?
None. Because when the Panthers draft defensive players, they'll let them play right away. But when they draft offensive players, they have to sit for a while the guys in front of them eat dick for 4 quarters.
I will be honest, though. This game in particular, our offensive line wasn't the reason we lost this game. I feel like I think they did the best job they had done all year in this game.
Yeah, they only allowed 2 sacks?
I mean, they did pretty good. I mean, compared to the last 2 games, they did amazing.
Compared to the last 2 games, they did better, but I'm sorry, they can't handle stunts for shit.
No, I'm not saying they're great. I'm just saying they're not the reason we lost this game today. I
believe, and if you watching the beginning of the game, you could tell Sam Darnold was nervous to see what was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So the first play he threw an interception.
He threw an interception because he was worried about where the pressure was coming from. If you're a quarterback and okay, when I hike the ball, I'm going to have a few seconds that I can look around and scan the field and see what I can find open. He knew he had to get rid of the ball quick.
He should have ran that ball.
So I have an interesting idea as to how Matt Rule thinks that he should build a team. Okay. And I say Matt Rule because let's face it, the last 2 drafts have mostly been Matt Rule. Scott Fitterer might have been in on this past draft, but I think it was mostly Matt Rule. I think that Matt Rule's philosophy is keep the defense young and fast and bring in veterans or somebody who has experience on the offense. Because let's face it, he's never played in the NFL before. And now he's in the same division as the Bucs. And what are the Bucs doing? They are building a veteran offense. And while it has not been great this year, last year, arguably it was awesome.
Yeah, but the Bucs put a rookie on their offensive line, and he played really well. So this thing,
but he was surrounded by veterans.
This is true, but hey, you put Deontay Brown in there at guard. You put him in between Pettis, Pettis or whatever his name is, and Moton.
Yeah,
you got 2 veterans right there. It's not like Deontay Brown hasn't played in big-time football games. Not the NFL, but I'm sorry. You playing at Alabama, 9 times out of 10, you're playing against other guys that you're going to see on Sunday.
Right.
And if you go back and look at his game film, he was one of the few players in the SEC who gave Derek Brown trouble.
Yes, he really did. He gave almost everyone he played trouble.
But Derek Brown manhandled everybody in the SEC except Deontay Brown.
Yep. But again, man, it's like I can't answer for these things anymore. I can't answer for the coaches. And inevitably, guys, we're still going to do this thing where if the Panthers, okay, Bat Daddy, I know you said, this game isn't on Sam, but I'll tell you what, man, as time goes on, I don't see any of the traits that I would want to see from a franchise quarterback. I think he's put up some good performances, but I think he also misses pretty wildly at times. I think whenever he's flustered, that's when he makes these terrible throws. On the first play of the game, Sam Darnold threw the dumbest pass that I've ever seen, man. Even ground level rookie quarterbacks know most of the time not to throw that pass to the sideline if he's that covered. They're going to jump the route. He's lucky that it wasn't a pick six.
I got a stat for you, Cody. Since the Jets, his passer rating has gone down.
Oh, yeah.
Each game has gotten worse with his passer rating. He was 102. Oh, shit, my phone.
Good.
He was 102. Oh, damn it, my phone just shut off.
I take what you're saying, though. Every performance has been less than. Yeah, he's getting worse and worse, and Sam Darnold continues to kind of meander a little bit. It's like we're not seeing the kind of player that we want Sam Darnold to be. My problem is that even if we give Sam a benefit of the doubt here, which frankly I don't think he's deserving of, if I'm just being honest, but say we did, just because we picked up his fifth-year option. If we can go through every, overturn every rock, do whatever we have to do to fix this offensive line, and then what happens next year if Sam still doesn't prove himself to be that guy? It's like I don't know how much better we expect this to get, but the fact that our O-line is so terrible, I'm just worried that Joe Brady and Sam Darnold are going to get the benefit of the doubt when they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt.
They will, and you're exactly right, Cody. They will get the benefit of the doubt, but these Panther fans are just gonna have to get over this whole Deshaun Watson thing. I mean, every week we get the same thing in the chat that we need to trade for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is not coming to Carolina, people. It's not happening.
His career might be over, if I'm being honest.
Even if Deshaun, I'm sorry. Yeah. Even if they were, whoever trades for Deshaun Watson, as soon as the trade goes through, guess what? Roger Goodell's going to put him on the exempt list. The only reason he's not on the exempt list right now is because Houston has already said we're not going to play him. So there's no need to do it. But any team that trades for him, the first thing he's going to do is put him on the exempt list. And then you gave away all your assets for what? A guy that may never play for your franchise if he's found guilty.
Yep.
So get over it. Sam Darnold is our quarterback, at least for the next 2 seasons.
Hey, Cody.
Yeah.
His passer rating for the Jets is 102. New Orleans was 99.1. Houston was 95.7. Dallas was 85.5. Philly was 44.5. And today was 55.6.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna necessarily fault him for today. Today, no, I'm gonna put a lot of the blame on the receivers, and more specifically, I'm gonna say it right now. Fuck Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Your second quarter performance was absolutely terrible. And if I was Matt Rule, I would not have put him in the game in the second half. I know he caught that last touchdown, but I would not have put him in the game that second half.
Any receiver could have caught that touchdown.
Hey, let me ask you this. I've noticed there's been a lot of just really boneheaded play calls, specifically on third down. Like a lot of screen passes and shit on big-time third downs.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And it has me wondering, is Joe Brady trying to overcompensate for a real lack of, one, pass protection, but maybe even Sam Darnold at this point? Maybe he doesn't trust Sam, especially with the kind of coverage that Minnesota had. Maybe Joe Brady just didn't trust Sam to not throw interceptions.
It's starting to look like not Teddy Bridgewater's fault.
Oh, I don't know if I can go that far.
I think he did a lot.
I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah.
I really think he's good pass protection because Sam, he's going to throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball into coverage because he's got guys coming in his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Sam did roll out a couple of times, and he actually threw the ball away. So, I mean, he lived for another play, which is good. I'd rather have him do that than to throw it into double coverage. But, I mean, of course, they're going to throw those dump screens because guys weren't getting loose when he did step back in the pocket. And when he did step back in the pocket, they were running stunts, and they were, as I said, hitting him right in the face.
Yeah.
There's 2 reasons why I will take Sam Darnold over Teddy Bridgewater all day long. First off, Sam Darnold, even though he's not great at it, will attempt the deep ball. Okay? He at least keeps us on our toes. Let's face it. When we finally see that ball in the air, it's like, oh, hey, something might happen here. And sometimes something does happen. A lot of times it doesn't. Okay? But the other reason why is because Sam Darnold can run. Okay, we need to do more of the designed runs. We need to tell Sam that whenever he is flustered or thinks that he is going to get flustered, to run your little ass off to get the play. Because our offensive line is not going to get us the play. The only person that's going to get us the play is going to be Sam or our receivers. And if our receivers aren't open, Sam needs to run. Sam needs to turn himself into Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I do regret giving up a second rounder now, looking at it.
Me too.
Maybe a third rounder, I would have gave up.
Hey, so this ought to be fun. Let me see what you guys think about this right quick. Let me let you hear from your quarterback. He was asked when Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, when they struggle with drops, and tell me if you can hear it. Let me make sure the volume is all the way up here. Hold on. All right.
Can't really hear it.
I can't really hear it.
He basically said they're both pros. They know what they have to do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's another rule.
That's a fair answer.
That's not wrong.
It's not throwing you under the bus. Yeah, I agree.
You know that's the same as Matt Rule, not saying anything, but in all reality, that's a fair answer for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, hold on. Let me be fair. As someone who was a noted Teddy Bridgewater, not hater, but I kept it real about Teddy Bridgewater. Is this in any way similar to when Teddy Bridgewater was saying, "Hey, DJ ran the wrong route in the end zone on the back of that one play"? No. Is this not the same thing?
No.
Similar, yes, but I've seen Sam fall on the sword before. So, I'll give Sam a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. Whereas Teddy, I never once saw him fall on the sword. Maybe he did, and I just didn't see it. But Teddy Bridgewater notoriously never fell on the sword, at least from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't blame them for a play. He just said, "Hey, they didn't know what to do."
And that's true, man. He said they know what to do. And listen, there was even that play, I think it was in the second quarter, where Sam threw a laser beam right on that inside crosser to DJ Moore. But DJ just the commentator even made it sound like DJ purposefully didn't catch that ball because he knew he was about to be blown up. And, oh, man.
I can believe that.
I didn't like that announcer, man. That announcer, it was so funny.
He's always giving this shit.
He was talking shit so bad. He was like, "Oh, look, he doesn't want to look like Robbie Anderson." Whenever the Vikings passed it the ball, it looks like Robbie Anderson now. And then there was a couple of things he said, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's talking some serious shit."
Well, Vilma is a former New Orleans Saint, so
Jonathan Vilma.
And before anyone from the chat says it, I don't know if you guys remember that play last year where Teddy Bridgewater basically did the same thing to Mike Davis, threw him right into double coverage, and Mike Davis was about to get lit up if he actually caught it. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold is not doing that constantly. Teddy Bridgewater last year, there was plays in almost every game where he basically was throwing to guys trying to get him hurt, from what it seemed like. Whereas Sam Darnold, I can only think of one, maybe two plays this season where that has happened. Unfortunately, today was one of those plays with DJ.
I feel like the defenders who we go against on defense has been pressing up on our receivers because they know that Sam doesn't have the time to throw that ball.
Yeah, they know that Sam doesn't have the time, and I frankly think that it goes back to that thing where ever since DJ Moore has been here, there hasn't been a dependable quarterback. So it's like he doesn't have that connection with any of the guys that he's throwing the ball to, man. Look at Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs or Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Like,
you know what reminds me of, Cody?
Who?
Steve Smith, his whole entire career.
Hey,
having to watch Matt Moore, Jimmy Clausen. I mean, you name it.
And J381, I don't know what you want us to say, man. We've said that our receivers needed to play better. They needed to catch the ball. But we're not going to not give Sam his just due, man.
Yeah.
He's not playing well. And anyone looking to come in here and make excuses for one player or position group or another, there's enough for everyone to go around, man. There's enough criticism of our defense, even though we've all been very complimentary of them. There's certainly enough for the offensive line. There's certainly enough for Sam Darnold. And there's now plenty on our coaches. There are now legitimate gripes and legitimate criticisms about Joe Brady and our head coach, Matt Rule, man. And
what did Matt Rule say about
time and time again?
What did Matt Rule say about Sam Darnold? You don't have to come in and be the hero. Well, he's not being the hero.
I honestly don't think that's what they want Sam Darnold to be. I think Sam Darnold is a quarterback that's good enough to win a Super Bowl with, good enough to win a championship with, but never going to be an MVP guy. He's never going to be a top 3, 4, 5 guy. And I'm fine with that. You can win championships like that, but you have to build around him first. And they've done that, I think, for the most part, except for the most important part in the offensive line.
Yeah.
So,
now, Cody, a couple of comments ago, Sarah Taylor made a comment about, the guys making talking about, we have to clean up mistakes and things like that. I'm waiting to see what the media is going to do, because they used to give Cam Newton grief. Cam would come up to the microphone and say, you know what, I gotta do better next week. I can't make that pass. I gotta, clean this up. And they would give him grief. I'm waiting to see if they give Matt Rule and Sam Darnold the same kind of grief they gave Cam Newton about
They won't.
That. I agree. They won't. You're absolutely right. They won't.
They won't, because Sam doesn't have the same attitude that Cam does. And Cam's attitude was the reason why he stood out as much as he did.
But Cam's attitude was he wanted to win above everything else. He may have gone about it differently, but you could tell Cam cared.
Oh, yeah. Well, Panthers fans could tell that. But if
I've
you want
seen
to
so many excuses for Sam Darnold not succeeding, but I've never heard anything like with Cam Newton.
Yeah. And Cam never had the amount of weapons that Sam Darnold has.
Oh, 100%.
No.
100%.
No.
God, no.
But again, how shitty is it that the Panthers quarterback position is a job where people go to die? It's like, it doesn't matter if it's Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold. It don't matter, man. They're all coming here, and ultimately they're going to look terrible. And you know what feels even worse about this loss today is that this is the third year in a row where the Panthers start off hot, and they have all of us up in the tizzy feeling like, oh man, we're going to be able to make a playoff push. We're a legitimate contender in the NFC South. And then the Panthers like, nah, bro, you thought wrong as fuck.
Are we the new Falcons?
Gotcha, bitch.
Are we the new Falcons?
Oh, don't say that.
We're never the Falcons until we lose the Super
Bowl. We're the opposite.
They did.
We're the opposite of the Falcons. The Falcons start off cold and then they get hot, whereas we start off hot and then get cold.
Exactly.
I remember they used to start off so hot and then just flank out.
Cody.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I got a question for you, man. You remember whenever you were talking about Mac Jones in the draft, how basically you were saying that, the only way for Mac Jones to really succeed is if he had an awesome offensive line?
Yeah.
Could those same criticisms be said about Sam Darnold? Like, I know Sam Darnold doesn't have the accuracy that Mac Jones has, but I mean, it seems like the only way that Sam Darnold can actually perform is if he has a halfway decent offensive line.
I say every quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, no,
it has to be halfway decent.
Look, there is a select few quarterbacks in the NFL that are good enough to actually compensate for really bad offensive lines. Again, I'm not
Kyler
saying
Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yep.
I think because of his mobility, Lamar Jackson is able to do it. Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl, for as bad as that offensive line was, his receivers had a ton of drops.
He hit people too.
And look, man, I know people don't want to talk about Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that he's coming here, but that man threw for almost 5,000 yards behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. So then, you have a tier underneath that, and people think that if I put someone in that tier, that means I'm saying that they suck. No, I'm not saying that at all. I think Matt Ryan is a good quarterback, but he ain't doing shit behind a terrible offensive line. Neither is Kirk Cousins, neither is Garoppolo, neither is Bridgewater, neither is, in my opinion, Matthew Stafford. And a lot of those guys are considered to be, decent to average to maybe even above average quarterbacks.
Matthew Stafford's the MVP this year.
And Sam Darnold might be that kind of player. But where I'll disagree with you, Greg, is I don't think that's a recipe for a perennial contender. Yeah, Sam might be able to win us one Super Bowl if we put him in the perfect situation. But yeah, even then you're asking for a one-off football team. Unless you have a franchise quarterback, your team isn't ever going to be a perennial contender year after year, like we know Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers, like we know Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes and all these players, man. It's like Sam
challenge
Darnold
you.
Has to show some of those traits at some
point. I wouldn't call Kyler Murray a perennial contender yet. He hasn't done anything yet.
Right. I challenge you to look up Tom Brady's first 3 championships.
They were average.
And the statistics that he had the first 3 championship years that he won.
Yeah, but what did they
I challenge you to look it up because Tom Brady was not a world beater quarterback in his first 3 titles.
What are the chances that Sam Darnold becomes Tom Brady, though?
But they also
I'm telling you, his stats were not that great. I'm telling you, it's not a lot you're asking to put up for.
But they allowed defense back then.
That's what we're building here is an amazing defense with an offense built around a quarterback that can get it done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and let's face it, Tom Brady's accuracy was a lot better than Sam's is. You know, I grew up watching the Pats every week. You know, you got to remember, I didn't become a Carolina Panthers fan until the end of the 2018 season. You know, when me and Josh went down to see it was who was our backup then? It was Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen play against the Falcons in Week 16. You know, that was my very first time watching the Carolina Panthers. And that's when I fell in love with the team. And I have yet to see a winning season with us. I've yet to even go down and see a game where we've won. And I've seen 3 games so far, and I'm getting ready to go down and see a 4th. You know, I'm going to be very disappointed if I drive my ass all the way down from Massachusetts to see us lose to the rookie Mac Jones. And I'm going to look like a flat work. That's for damn sure.
Hey, man, you might want to prepare yourself now, dude.
Yeah, man.
It's not
the Patriots defense is shutting down the Cowboys right now. I mean,
is that who they're playing? The Cowboys?
Yeah.
Dude, how awesome would that if the Cowboys fucking ate it today?
14-7.
It'd be good, but I hope they score a lot of points because I got Dak and Zeke on my fantasy team. So I'd love to see lose 45-46. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my first fantasy game this week. So
I don't know how I'm winning because most of my talent is out. McCaffrey, Jerry Jeudy, Cam Akers.
Yeah.
Debo's out for a bye week. And yet I'm winning.
In both my leagues, I have at least 7 players on bye during week 7 next week. So when I drafted, I just decided week 7 was just going to be a loss. I don't have to worry about fantasy football next week.
And Jameis
7 players on a bye
is out. Is a bye week too. I'm playing a super flex, 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Both my quarterbacks big for me.
Yeah, Atlanta wasn't playing today, and New Orleans wasn't playing today. This was a big day for Carolina to take a big step in our division.
Yeah.
And instead, we took a big step in some dog shit, bro. Yep. People are already flaming Sam Darnold, dude. Shout out to
that Panther looks like a ghost too, man. That's
the one that he drew.
You're right.
Maybe that's why he looks so surprised right there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, so embarrassing, man. Dude, how long are the Panthers going to have to go through this? Where they just get our hopes up and then just to let us down with the quickness?
That's what being a Panther fan's all about,
man.
Yeah.
It's been like that since I was 13.
I honestly feel this is going to be what we're going to be dealing with the rest of the season. I'm sorry. Until they get that offensive line fixed, we're going to be until next season. This is what C3 is going to be like the rest of the season.
I said on the Friday free-for-all when we were 3-0, they said that we were ahead of schedule when it comes to this team. We're like, we weren't supposed to be this good. I mean, are we on schedule actually and not ahead?
I guess we're back on schedule. They worked on the defense. The defense is built up. Now this offseason, they'll work on the offensive line and trying to keep certain pieces of the defense. And next season, hopefully they'll come back and with a decent offensive line, and that's when we'll see them make a push for the playoffs.
Maybe we take our offensive line and create a game called Squid Games, and see which one comes out of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, you need to jump off, bro.
Yeah, man, I gotta head out real quick. Sorry, something unexpected came up real quick.
Yeah, you're fine, man. Happy you could join
I
us, bro.
appreciate y'all having me on once again. Always fun. Panthers, we're still kind of doing our thing, but as you always tell Panthers,
hold
fans,
it up,
y'all,
hold
that's
it up,
right.
hold it up.
Everybody just
here.
remember.
I'll put you on solo layout.
There you go. Keep pounding, everybody. Okay, we're at this point.
Good
at this
seeing
point,
you,
I'm
young
two losses away. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good seeing y'all too. At this point, I'm 2 losses away from starting to one or get ready for the draft next year.
Yep.
Hey, this was week 6, and I don't know if you guys have been listening to what I say about week 6, but I think the Panthers are right on the mark. Greg, I appreciate you, brother. Glad you could stop in, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
See you next time.
Peace, man.
Have a good one.
Yeah, peace. And by the way, y'all, just in case you didn't hear earlier, I do not have a way to play the cat calls without showing everybody's number to the whole world. So until I figure out a better way to do it on my own, no cat calls today. They'll be back on Tuesday night. But if you have any questions or anything you want to ask or anything you want to say, drop them in the chat room while we still have you. I appreciate my free-for-all boys for jumping on with me and hanging tough, man. Definitely appreciate you guys, man. This Panther Brotherhood runs strong. I love it. See through the family. Yeah, man. Dude, what else is there to say about this football team? Y'all tell me.
I got something to say.
What haven't we talked about yet?
I got something to say, Cody.
All right, let me hear it.
I don't know how many people are watching. I don't know how many thumbs up there are. But, it seems like this chat really has that fetish for shame.
Oh, they do.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Your boy drove 350 miles yelling and screaming at the windshield watching the game. Pulled over on the side of the road just to be on this podcast. Hit the like button, guys.
Subscriber shame, y'all. That's all we're asking. No one's asking you to pull over on the side of the road to hit the like button. You just got to do it wherever you're at right now, man. That's all we want you to do, man.
Just don't do it while you're driving. Don't hit that like button while you're driving.
Yeah, not while driving. Unless you're talented enough to do that kind of thing, then by all means. Yeah, but and shout out to Dexter Henderson for the 449 pounds. It was great seeing the Panther fans at the London game today. Need a fan base. It's not a fan base, it's a brotherhood. Not a great result, but keep pounding. Shout out to you, Dexter, from across the pond. We appreciate the love and support, man. Yeah, what are we not talking about? What do we need to discuss with this football team? I feel like we've kind of touched on it all, but I mean, listen, is there any hope? How about this? Is there any hope for the Panthers going forward? And
Week
if
9.
so, what does it involve? What does it look like?
Week
what
9.
has to happen for the Panthers to turn this around?
CMC come back.
Yeah. And honestly, even when he comes back at this point, he's coming back in the hardest part of our season. So I'm just like, we're playing Buffalo and Tampa twice, and
we just got to hold up until then, till week 9. Hope we get.
Unfortunately, guys, I say we get maybe three. Let's see. Right now, we won 3 games. I say we get 3, maybe 4 more wins the rest of the season.
Probably.
I think we beat the Giants. I think we can beat Miami. I think we can beat Atlanta. But with Atlanta, they always end up stealing one from us. So, but the rest of Buffalo, Tampa Bay, New Orleans is not looking good.
I mean, by week 9, we're going to be a total different team with Gilmore, Henderson, and then McCaffrey back. I mean,
if McCaffrey's back week 9,
that's true. They could,
and you know what? We haven't even talked.
Yeah,
about the whole
that's
McCaffrey
what I was about to bring it up. Go ahead, man.
Look, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at this coaching staff just in general. Okay, the very vanilla play calls on offense, not using Sam Darnold's best weapon. Okay, as much as we have, which is obviously his legs. Like his arms okay. His accuracy isn't necessarily there. He has the option for the deep ball, but his legs are his best asset. And his legs are the only thing that's actually kept us in games. Okay? So, the fact that our coaching staff has been very vanilla, and the fact that they waited until yesterday to put Christian McCaffrey on IR, what the hell is that shit?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, why would you not have put him on IR right after the hamstring injury? I mean, looking back. And look back at the All or Nothing series. You had Dave Tepper yelling at Ron Rivera, saying that something needs to happen here. We can't keep doing this. And yet, it's 2 years later, and we're still doing the same shit?
Mm-hmm. With a new coaching regime.
A new
dude. What the fuck?
That is the saddest thing in this whole, that we had to wait a year and a half to realize that we didn't escape all the things that we thought we were escaping when we fired Ron Rivera. Like a lot
of these
same BS tendencies, man. That does not spell out to be good for the Panthers going forward. Not even a little bit, man. And then again, my take has been J.C. Horn is going to be a really good football player. And I'm not coming off of that. I think J.C. Horn's going to be a damn good football player.
Oh, he's a lights-out corner.
But if Sam Darnold is going to cost $18 million last year, you passed on Justin Fields, which I don't know how he looked today, but
he had some good plays.
He had some good plays, but then also Rashawn Slater and J.C. Horn is injured. He's not even playing for the football team right now.
Mac Jones is 7 for 7 for a touchdown.
Yeah, then you add on top of Terrace Marshall Jr. is hurt, and people have been criticizing him for not either doing enough on the field or Joe Brady for not getting Terrace involved in the game plan as much. Yeah, I kind of think that's what it is too. And then, like I said earlier, Brady Christensen, our third-round pick, the coaches refused to play him. So it's like our first, second, and third-round picks in the draft this year are ostensibly doing nothing for us.
Well, you hear the announcers say we had no dump off for Sam. That would have been Christian McCaffrey. We had
not even in Chuba.
Chuba can't catch.
Chuba can catch for shit.
I guess you put Tommy Chimmel back there as a fullback.
One other thing, guys. I know where everybody's like, okay, well, Christian McCaffrey will be back at week 9. He'll be back. Are we going to take bets on if he makes it the rest of the season when he does come back?
I think better. Yeah.
He better.
I mean, last year we were talking the same thing about Dante Jackson and his foot. And
as people were saying earlier, Dante Jackson's in a contract year. Things get very different once you get that contract. Yeah. Things that you would normally play through when you're trying to get that contract, all of a sudden hurt a lot worse when you've already gotten paid.
Yep.
I know players aren't going to like it, but I think we need to stop giving long-term deals. We need to start doing one-year deals.
We should even
nobody's going to like us for it, but I mean, let's face it. You want to be competitive? Keep doing one-year deals.
Well, at least not until
that's never going to happen. I see what you said, Nick, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I don't think it ever will.
Say this. I already know, people. I already know, so you don't have to say it. You don't pay running backs.
That's why you put them at receiver.
You never build. No Super Bowl team has built their franchise offensive side of the ball around a running back. It does not happen. As we were talking about on the Friday free for all, look at the past 10 Super Bowl winners. Not a single one.
We're paying for running backs.
A top 10 paid running back.
Would you pay a receiver for 1,000-yard season and 100 catches?
Dude, look, man.
I would not have paid Robbie Anderson. No, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey.
I wouldn't pay Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey is not going to switch. You can say what you want. McCaffrey's not going to switch to being a full-time slot receiver. He's not going to do it.
Not full-time, but maybe half of his snaps are a receiver.
He's a running back.
Let's keep it on CMC for a minute. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. I think it happened after the free-for-all.
It did. It happened yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Why did the Panthers wait until right now to put McCaffrey on IR? Why didn't they already do it after he got hurt against Houston So that way this Vikings game, we could be hoping to have him back by the time we play the Giants.
Because
but instead we had him limited in practice. And listen, I think that they're afraid to say it, but I think he re-injured himself when he was limited in practice. Yeah, man. I think that he re-injured himself. They tried to force him back into the offense because the Panthers are, quite frankly, the Carolina Christian McCaffreys. We are 0-3 without man on the field. Mm-hmm. So they're like, hey, we have to get Christian McCaffrey out on the field pronto because we have no offensive identity outside of him.
We don't, and that's on Joe Brady.
They didn't put him on IR back when he got hurt in Houston because the trainers were telling the coaching staff that it's mild and he can be back in a couple of weeks. There's no reason to put him on IR. And as you just said, he went out there in practice and he re-aggravated it. And at that point, Matt Rule had no other alternative than to say, okay, we're putting him on IR and we can leave it at that so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Hey, man, not only is the ghost of Ron Rivera strong in these Panthers halls, but the ghost of Ryan Vermilion's still here too. Ain't that a bitch? We're charting out players that are still hurt when they shouldn't be out there. Man, it's so dumb, man. It's so disappointing that we thought we left all of this behind, and yet here we are talking about it even still, dude.
So I honestly, at this point, don't know how you fix this team. I mean, we've already made our bed at this point. As I said, Christian McCaffrey's here. He's our running back. He's not. Unfortunately, he's not going anywhere. So we've made our bed. I don't see how you fix this.
This year you can't. This year you can't because the biggest issue that we have is the offensive line, and it's going to cost way too. No, you can draft it, but that's not an issue that you can fix mid-season.
No, that's an issue. But even then, if you're talking about fixing it during the draft, we're going to have to trade down. We're going to take our first-round pick and trade back because we have no second-round pick. We have no third-round pick. Mm-hmm. Do we have a fourth-round pick at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we have a fourth.
You think we trade back up into the second or third?
So basically, we have a first, a fourth. I think we still have a fifth and a seventh.
We might have a bunch of sevenths. Could we got like Teddy Bridgewater, some other people we traded for a seventh?
So basically, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to trade down. Hopefully, well, I'm not saying hopefully we'll be bad because the way it's looking, we are gonna be bad.
Greg Little.
We trade from the top 10 or the middle part of the draft back to the back end of the first round. And we may pick up a first-round pick the following year and a second-round pick.
Maybe a fifth-rounder from New England.
We get a comp pick from New England if Gilmore leaves.
I'm not trying to change the subject here, but I hope that we at least get Horn back for one game while we have Henderson and Gilmore on the field.
If we have
unless we make the playoffs, Horn's not coming back this year.
It's entirely dependent, man. If we were talking about the Panthers being a legitimate playoff team, then I'd have been all about it. I definitely want JC Horn back. But if it's looking like this season is already in the tanks, dude, stuff him for next year. Like it's already we're already looking at that, like why bring them back?
You know what this team has the potential to be?
Huh?
At best, this team has the potential to be the 2015 Broncos. Shit quarterback play and all defense.
Dude, but our offense is
I don't think we have the personnel to be all defense.
Our offense is worse than that team, man. At least they were able.
I don't know about that.
Dude, and
our offense is worse than the 15 Broncos. I hate to say it.
We have the worst offensive line.
Man.
Who has a worse offensive line than the Carolina Panthers?
They had a better offensive line, but I'm talking about offense in general.
But to anyone in the chat room, anyone on Twitter, anyone in here, name me a worse offensive line.
The Houston Texans,
City Chiefs right now.
David Carr, Derek Carr was a rookie. That was a worse offensive line. I think he got more than anybody in NFL history that year.
Yeah,
and right now the Chiefs actually have a worse offensive line than us.
Really?
Yeah, it's their offensive line is terrible. Like if it's not as bad as, I'm pretty sure they're worse than us.
I haven't really watched
there goes that trade everybody was talking about. Carolina getting an offensive lineman from Kansas City.
Yeah,
yeah, but that's the offensive lineman that we wanted is injured right now, Michael Schwartz.
Yeah,
he has back issues.
Mitchell Schwartz.
Oh, that's right. He is a free agent. I'm sorry. You are right. I forgot about that one. But I thought that was the one that everyone wanted.
Yeah, he is, because somebody messaged him on Twitter and tagged the Panthers in it, and then he gave a shrugging emoji when they asked why he hadn't been signed by Carolina, and he just gave a shrugging emoji.
But I mean, is that really going to fix things?
No.
I mean,
it's really not the tackles at this point. The pressure is coming from up the middle.
The interior. It's been the interior, and it's going to continue.
The sack today was the interior.
For as much grief as we gave Cam Irvin at the start of the season, he has not been the problem.
No.
Is he great? Absolutely not. But he's not been the main problem. Our main problem have been Paradis and those two guards.
Yeah. Who are our guards from last year? We had Daly last year, and who else?
We had Daly. We had John Miller. Oh man, I can't even remember who the other guard was.
Because here's what I want to know: why the hell is our offensive line so much worse this year than last year? Whenever we had the same personnel, for the most part, we had the same personnel.
There's another guy that's not on the team this year. I can't remember his name.
Was it Schofield? Michael Schofield?
Yeah. Tree Figure said Schofield.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Schofield,
when I know your name.
Schofield, Paradis,
Van Roten was here too.
That's right.
Van Roten was with the Jets last season. Van Roten was here 2 years ago.
Dude, it's been such a blur of terrible.
Your offensive lineman. I shouldn't even know your name. I shouldn't know Miller.
Yeah. Our last year's starting offensive line, Trent Scott played left tackle, Schofield played left guard, Paradis was at center, Miller was right guard, and Moten was right tackle. Because it was supposed to be Russell Okung, but Okung was hurt all the time.
Yeah, by the way, Joe Person says the 571 yards allowed, tied for the second most allowed by the Panthers in team history.
Really?
Tied with Matt Ryan's 500-yard game.
It didn't even seem like they got that many yards.
Was that the 500-yard game where Julio caught 300 yards?
And Benedict Wickery was the scapegoat, dude. Yeah, that was
so bad.
That poor man.
That's the one.
His career was toast after that.
And hey, this is a good question by Alex Christmas. Where was the pass rush? Where was the pass rush, man? I felt like our DBs kind of, for the most part, did well today, but like we didn't have. I mean, how many sacks did we? Did we even have a sack?
I think we got one, right? With
Cody, here's the thing to remember. Okay, our pass rush has not been the same since J.C. Horn went down.
Yeah,
because we went from running man coverage to running zone.
Yeah, we're not a man team anymore, and I think that's been what
we will be next week.
Yeah, we hope so.
Stephon Gilmore is a man corner, so when he comes back,
again, guys, we never answered the question. When Stephon Gilmore steps in, who loses their spot?
Not Dante, whoever the next guy is.
Yeah,
Dante will be there. I think CJ Hendricks is going to be out there. Maybe Bouye. I mean,
as I said, Keith Taylor played really well today. I was very impressed with Keith Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor was amazing.
Hey, real quick, man, Nirvash with the $20 love bomb. Appreciate you, brother. He says none of these DBs we got play O-line or call plays or throw the ball downfield. We may need a quarterback and O-line and not enough high draft picks to address it next year. What a damn mess. And, dude, I feel like we're all coming to this very hard realization about the Carolina Panthers in a very real way right now, where we're being abruptly faced with the harsh reality that this football team
They overcompensated
right now, man.
They overcompensated in one area, and it's a mess.
Yeah. How long do you think they get Donald if he keeps playing like this?
No. I wonder if we can take some of our extra edge rushers that we don't use. Like, who's the guy that? Well, not necessarily in a trade, but I mean, it would be stupid. But hell, let's try some of those guys that we don't use on O-line. Just to see.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Remember, we tried that a couple of years ago. We took the defensive tackle and made him a guard.
Who?
Yeah, that didn't work out. What was his name? Was it Chandler? There was a defensive tackle, I believe the last name was Chandler. I can't remember his first name, but they turned him into an offensive lineman.
You sound like the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I'm doing that.
Yeah. And listen, yeah, we really Karen Joy says we don't have the draft picks to fix the O-line.
I think it was Nate Chandler. I'm sorry, I think it was Nate Chandler.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, Nate, he was a defensive lineman, and Ron Rivera was like, well, he has some offensive lineman tendencies, so we moved him over to the offensive side of the ball.
How'd that work out?
Hey, do y'all think there's any truth to this? Mark Llewellyn says this defense is easily fixed. It's just fix the big issue is no man corner, which we get back soon, and no Shaq Thompson. Our offense, time of possession, tired out the defense. And yeah, this is something that we said too, that we're not playing complementary football. And that our offense doesn't let our defense get off the field.
Plus, our defense held them to a 4th and out, blocked a punt, returned it for a touchdown, and then went right back on the field. And they scored. So I mean,
but even when our defense was playing well to start the season, we have yet to see an offensive performance that gives us any shred of hope about what this team might be, man. And it's like there are no players to trade for right now to fix it. You're not going to upgrade the quarterback. This is what you have. This is what the Panthers have. And it's,
with our team,
what it is at this point.
With the draft picks we have and with our team the way it is, it kind of reminds me of Houston. When they had no first or second or third round pick, team was trash.
And then, again, that brings me back to, let's say there's a quarterback that we like in the draft.
Okay, we're not drafting a quarterback, Cody.
We could. Cardinals did it, and they're 5-0 right now.
But, Drew, look at David Tepper, though. We didn't give up anything for Sam Darnold. We gave up some breadcrumbs, and then on top of it, we got rid of Teddy Bridgewater after 1 year, and we paid him a 3-year contract.
Cody, if we get rid of Sam Darnold, it will be for a veteran. He is not going back with a rookie.
It's funny that you say that, Drew.
But,
It's funny you say that, Drew, because what was my thought on how Matt Rule is going to build this team?
What was it?
The fact that he puts the young guys on defense and he puts the veterans on offense.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what happened. They're not going to draft a quarterback because you're basically starting from scratch with a rookie quarterback. They're not.
The Cardinals did it and it worked out fine for them.
Yeah, but we're talking about David Tepper. He's yet to have a winning season. He's owned this team for 3 or 4 years now.
Yep.
And yet to have a winning season. He's going to be opening up a brand new facility in Rock Hill, and he's yet to produce anything on the field. That man is not going to stand for this.
Matt Rule's not seeing his next year.
Sam Darnold, it will be for a veteran. And I'm going to tell you, if this is Aaron Rodgers' last season in Green Bay, I say they find a way to move on from Sam Darnold. They build an offensive line, and they say, look, we've got a young defense. We put an offensive line here. We've got offensive weapons.
You got to put the offensive line together first.
You take over the offense, and you run it.
You got to get the offensive line first because Aaron ain't going to come here if he ain't got no offensive line.
Well, you got to remember, free agency will be out there. They can spend some money in free agency. We may lose. We may lose stuff on Gilmore. We may lose stuff on Gilmore.
Well, we'll lose more than Stephon Gilmore, man. We got to pay Hassan Reddick. We got to pay Frankie Louvu. We got to pay DJ Moore. We got to pay all these other guys.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but
they don't have to pay DJ Moore this offseason.
We don't.
I thought this was last year.
He'll be on his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and he might not want to play, but the fact of the matter is, if you haven't earned it, you haven't earned it. And if that makes you so mad that you want to go and play for another football, okay, who has, without a shadow of a doubt, earned a brand new contract here in Carolina?
DJ.
Not for the money he's going to, now, Nick, not for the money he's going to want. Has he earned a contract? Yes. For the money that he's going to want? No.
So then we're going to pay.
All right, hold on. Okay. I got to do a counter argument to that. Who was DJ's quarterback back in 2019?
2019?
Was it
2019? That was the two backups.
Allen.
Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke.
That was Kyle Allen.
Okay. Yep. And Taylor Heineke came in a couple of times, but you're right. Yeah. Mostly Kyle Allen. Okay. Who was our quarterback last year? And what was his furthest throw? 10 yards down the field.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You had DJ Morris sat behind backup quarterbacks or an injured Cam Newton or Teddy Dumpsterwater for the last 3 years, and yet the last 2 seasons he's had 1,000-yard seasons.
But
he
then
deserves a contract.
Oh, okay, but then are we then saying that we're going to be overpaying? We're going to be overpaying for a running back and a wide receiver.
You're only overpaying for him if he doesn't perform.
All right, so
you don't have to pay him next season.
Wait, hold on. But before we go any further, the traffic has subsided, and Tony Dunn is joining the postgame show.
Oh man,
you
guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, man.
Holy cow! That nightmare of I-95 reminded me of that nightmare of a football game for the Carolina Panthers that I watched on my phone as we bumper to bumpered it. How bad is that? Like I could watch a football game. The traffic was so bad.
You weren't missing much. You weren't missing much.
No. What do you guys cover? Fill me in. What's the kind of general sentiment?
Pretty much everything.
A little bit of everything. This offensive line is pathetic. Our coaches continue to make these boneheaded play calls, including Joe Brady. Dante Jackson is the heart of our defense. But, Tony, I don't know if you know this yet or not. Today, the Panthers defense gave up 571 yards. That is the second most the Panthers have ever given up in their history, and it tied the performance where Matt Ryan threw for 500 yards on us.
Man, it didn't. I mean, I know that.
It
didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like that.
I think they had 2 drives that started at their 1 yard line. That helped a lot.
Holy cow! I think this is that, and Sam Darnold stinks.
Yeah.
We're stuck with him.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, man. Is that like you see some moments where you think that Sam Darnold could be a very effective player, and again, much like we said in the past, that the offensive line dictates so much of a quarterback's success. But throwing a pick on the first play of the game, yuck.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be a tough day. And then what's going on with Robbie Anderson? Man, he can't
rock everything, man.
Sure-handed Robbie Anderson has got the dropsies, baby.
He hasn't been good all this season.
No, not at all. And last year he caught everything in his area code.
I said we should have traded before the season. We should have traded him.
Did you guys see Curtis Samuel, though? Is they're about to shut him down for the seison?
Oh, really?
Thinking about it? Yeah, or they're considering it. I mean, like his groin, he re-aggravated his groin injury. So it's like, gosh, I mean, I don't even want to hear the people saying we should have kept Curtis Samuel over,
No, I mean, if Christian comes back and pulls another hamstring or something, they might shut him down for the season.
We really
Were you able to get the calls to work, Cody?
Nah.
Not without showing everybody's number. So I did the VLC player thing, and it doesn't let me show the audio even if I just have it open in the window. So I can share the audio from a Chrome tab, but not a window.
Roger. Let's see. And I can pull them up, and I know you probably got to go soon, and I can keep pushing through.
Yeah, I'll probably stay for like 15 more minutes.
What did that new guy play on the offensive line?
Yep.
Oh, Michael Jordan. Oh yeah.
Oh, it was Michael Jordan that played. I thought I heard Mick Mixon talking about it. It's some giant man. I didn't know if he was referring to the guy.
You're talking about the guy
that we just signed to the practice squad?
Jacksonville. No, he didn't play.
Okay. He must have been talking about somebody on Minnesota's offensive line, because there's nobody giant on our team, is there?
Giant?
Bianchi Brown.
The guy from Jacksonville that we signed to the practice squad, but I don't know if he was suited up or not.
I think he's still on the practice squad.
Yeah.
What happened
they
with
could
the
have
offensive line today? And I mean, I know they gave up 4 sacks. Some of it sounded like it was on Darnold, or seemed like it was where they gave.
Michael Jordan
was at least 4.
They can't block stunts. Michael Jordan got bull rushed right into Sam Darnold for one of them, and then he just let the guy whiff him on a stunt to get the second one.
Jeez. See, and this offensive line, is this like who does this is this just something that it turned out to be worse than we expected, or is this something that like we have to start like really putting on the coach, or like the whole kind of just being a misfire for this team entirely this offseason?
Well, we thought Cam Irvin was going to be really bad, but Irvin isn't the problem. As we said earlier, it's been Paradis and the 2 guards. That's where the most of the pressure is coming from, is right up the gut.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, and again, Tony, one of the things that we've been saying is that it's really kind of hitting us in the face that the Panthers don't really have a way to fix this. We're going to have.
I tried to tell you in the debate.
We're going to have 1 pick in the top 100. We're now feeling like we don't have a quarterback that can get the job done. I mean, listen, even if you think Sam can play better than he is now,
we don't have a number 2 receiver.
I don't think that he's a franchise quarterback. I just don't. He might be able to do some good things, but I don't see the kind of dog in him that I wanted to have seen by now. So it's like now we need
there was some resiliency in his game today. I mean, he threw those 4th down passes
in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
How about them fumbles? You were right about the fumbles.
Yeah.
He fumbled today, fumbled it right away to him.
And remember that 4th down play, if it wasn't for Patrick Peterson going out with a hamstring injury, that pass doesn't get completed to DJ Moore.
We were saying, like, why don't they have more design runs for him? The dude can run.
God, I know that one that he turned it up. It reminded me of like the one he did for the Jets. Remember last year he had that big run for the Jets and like for a touchdown, and he was like just blowing past people. Here, I got the calls up if you want to push through a couple of them before you got to go, Cody.
Yeah, let's do that. And Nick,
real quick before you. Yeah, I still got another hour before I get home. So.
Hey, man, dude, you're a soldier, bro. Stepping in on a moment's notice when I needed you. You're the homeboy, Nick. I definitely appreciate you, brother.
Dude, you know I got your back, brother. I love doing this shit, you know? The fact that you started the Friday free-for-all and I was able to hop on, man, I've been looking forward to a moment like that for a long time. So I'm happy that you guys started doing that. And shout out to you guys, man. You guys always put out great content. The fact that you guys are here basically almost 7 days a week at this point, you know, it's nice. You know, it helps us get through this, what might be another trash of the season. You know,
I know it's really starting to fall apart quick right now.
It is, man. It is. I really. The only thing that I can say is, man, we better not lose to the Patriots. I'm going to be so pissed if I drive all the way down there for us to lose to the Patriots, and then have to come home and listen to everybody at work talking shit.
Yeah.
You know. So, but real quick, you guys can find me on Instagram at Monty's Motorsports. Check out Josh from Mass's podcast, the Third Down podcast. He drops 2 episodes a week. It's always great content. And guys, I will see you guys on Friday.
Hey, man.
appreciate you, bro. Keep pounding, dude.
Keep pounding,
Thanks, Nick. Man, I appreciate the support. Let's pop through with a phone call and see what these guys got to say.
Let's do it.
Baltimore beat the shit out of the Chargers.
Hey, C3, this is Brian Wells, man. If I ever hear any announcer call Joe Brady a fucking young offensive genius, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. I'm not surprised. Sam Darnold's trash. Offensive line trash. Just lose every fucking game until the end of the season. Get a number 1 draft pick. Get a left tackle. Get a center. Fuck this shit over, bro. I just want to fire Joe Brady. I don't know what to do. I'm not even surprised. I think it's good that we lost. We just need to go ahead and lose the rest of the games and start over, bro, and get a new fucking quarterback. Thanks.
You know, I want to say that Joe Brady has room to grow on the job, right? But I think this is, and I mean, and clearly it's the case, is like this offense is that it's just a failure. It's failing in so many areas that he has to be part of the conversation. I don't think he's all the problem. And I think that's the problem with the offense is there's not only one problem, right? Is that there's the offensive line, there's this kind of funk we get into in the second half or today, the lack of offensive production, just period. It was a crazy stat I heard at one point, or Jonathan Vilma, who I actually like as a commentator. I think he's all right. And he said, man, it's pretty weird or something crazy when the penalty yards for the Minnesota Vikings are about to surpass the offensive production yards for the Carolina Panthers. It was just nothing was going right. Darnold I think it's starting to get in his head a little bit, right? I think he's starting to get like in the funk of being a New York Jet kind of again. The offensive line continues to just get worse and worse as the season goes on. Chuba Hubbard might be the bright spot of this offense right now.
Yeah.
Chuba can run the ball, but Chuba can't catch.
He can't catch.
No, he can't. He can't. Did he have any drops today, though, or did they just take him out?
Oh, yeah.
He had quite a few drops.
Oh, yeah. He had more than one. More than one. So it's not even saying a whole lot when you're like Chuba was the best player. Even that wasn't great, man.
Man, what's up, Underground West? So like it's just a multi. Oh, but here's the other thing is that you guys all said that I was just a poo-pooing Joe Brady before all this, and I said don't coronate him just yet. Like, it's like let's wait to crown people. And I know that people love to run with a fun storyline that gets legs, that has some traction and some things, and that you can be, trying to get ahead of the curve. But we knew that the guy had never been fully in charge of an offense before. And I thought he's actually done pretty well given the fact that he hasn't had any experience, right? I mean, that's a tough learning curve. But I think that part of the lack of production has got to come back to him at somehow. Like, why haven't they? I don't know. I don't know what you could do to change this, to right this ship. I said on the radio, Cody, yesterday, though, is that we were 3. It doesn't really feel like we were 3-2. That was yesterday. Now, you know what I'm saying? We don't feel like a 3-2 team. It almost feels like we're a 1-4 team after the last couple of weeks. And now today at 3-3, you got to say 3-3 is a record that we almost don't deserve at this point.
No.
No, man. And I said it earlier. The Falcons didn't play today. The Saints didn't play today. It was a big opportunity for the Panthers to move up in the division after an abysmal performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that we almost did beat, and we all thought that we were going to beat easily going into that football game. And then it's like the Panthers keep on losing these close ball games. And Tony, guess what week it is, man? Guess what week it is?
Week 6.
It's week 6. How are we feeling about these Panthers
frauds
now?
Frauds?
It is looking like we're frauds.
I think Sam Darnold's a front runner. Like when things are behind him,
so when things are good,
this team is built to play from ahead, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're built to play from ahead, and that's with the case with the offensive line is that if you can't protect, you can't get yourself in passing like where you are one-dimensional by being behind.
Yeah.
Questions here. I'm going to go ahead and give them to you a little bit to think about for Debate My Take on Wednesday, right? Yep. When do we start thinking about, you said you don't think it's fixable because we don't have the picks. When do we start becoming sellers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think should we trade Stephon Gilmore?
Trade Stephon Gilmore after we already traded for him?
Yeah, but trade him to like the Bucks for like a second-round pick or something.
I think Green Bay was one.
Richard Sherman just went down. He's out now with the hamstring. When do we start maybe selling AJ Bouye, who has been very good?
How about Robbie Anderson?
He ain't getting shit.
We can't trade him. We got all to a new contract. We got all that new signing bonus and everything.
Yeah. You have to eat all that money.
At best, you get a 7th rounder.
So Drew brought this up on the Friday Free for All. What about McCaffrey?
I know. Are we going to be sellers?
Nobody wants to hear that. But if you look at the over the cap, look at the post-June trade. If you trade Christian McCaffrey after post-June next year, we take a little bit of a hit, but after that, it comes down.
But what do you get for him?
Dude, at this point, I sell him for a bag of peanuts. He's not playing.
Come on.
Oh, wow.
Come on, man.
God,
would you shut out Thomas Davis before this injury?
You say come on, but what are we getting out of him now?
Look at
I'm on Drew's side
right now. Look at Zeke right now.
I'm on Drew's side,
if he's not on the field helping us win, what good is he to our team?
Tony,
he's actually a hindrance.
Because
you remember on him coming back to be their savior. You need to rip the Band-Aid off and take him out of the equation completely. McCaffrey's gone. There's no more Band-Aid. This is what we have. You need to work with it.
Tony, you remember after we signed Christian McCaffrey, you remember that I kept it honest. I love Christian McCaffrey, the player. I think he's incredible. But I don't care if he went 2,000. I'm not signing him to that much money when no Super Bowl winning football teams pay their running backs that kind of cash.
He's not a real running back.
Yes,
he's a receiver running back.
Tell that to the
yards receiving, 100 catches.
But Kevin, not available is my issue with him. I think Christian McCaffrey's great. Trust me. If McCaffrey was healthy and he was on the field, absolutely. Do I hate the contract? Absolutely, I hate it. But I would have him on my team.
Dante wasn't available last year either.
But he's not available. He's played he's played 16 out of 20, 3 games now?
Neither was Dante last year, man. And now
we're all wanting to give him a contract. One season with Dante.
I know. Everybody's ready to suck on Dante's, you know what?
Right?
But that's the thing. That's one thing. Yeah, Dante had that one season last year. He was injured. McCaffrey has only played 16 games under Matt Rule. 16.
We thought Thomas Davis was done after he got that horrible injury. Bounced back, had the greatest years.
I just think it's a little prisoner of the moment. I think it's
different when you're paying a linebacker compared to playing a running back, and your running back is what your whole offense is built around.
Yes,
the defense was not completely built around Thomas Davis. He was a part of the defense.
Yes.
This offense is completely built around Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
And if he's out,
but is it built around him by choice or just because he's the only
lazy
player
coaching?
Like him and DJ are like the only players that are really good on the team on offense. I think I want to be careful about jumping too quick into the McCaffrey is an injury-prone player narrative. Now, until he gets back on the field and gets healthy, that's going to be part of the story. I do feel like it's a little recency bias because for his first 4 years or 3 years or whatever, he was remarkably durable, right? But each game he misses now continues to put him in the conversation of being like Dalvin Cook, a great player when he's on the field, but never ever. And Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook deserves to be in the conversation of like a Kamara, a Christian McCaffrey. But
I think he hasn't been.
He should be.
He hasn't been just because he hasn't been
on the field.
available. Yeah, as Christian has historically until as of the last 16 games or whatever it is. And then on top of that, Kamara's always playing. He plays through injury. He plays that, man. He hasn't missed a lot of time period. All right, let's go to the next call real quick.
Yep. C3 fam, you know who it is. Your boy Josh from Mass.
What's up, Josh?
What a fucking heartbreaker today. Man, it was like, I was like, there's no way we're gonna get down the field and get a touchdown. We got down the field, we got a touchdown. There's no way we're gonna get the 2 point. We got the 2 point. And then we get into overtime, and we just let these fucking mugs just march down the fucking field. Just march. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Both at the end of the game and in overtime.
When the offense shows some urgency and like hurries up. Oh, lo and behold, they can do things. Now, why don't you do that a few more times a game? You know, how about at least one drive every fucking quarter? Because then the offense looks like it's functional. Probably because it's going fast enough to just negate the fact that the offensive line is fucking booty cheeks. Penalties, blown coverages. I mean, it's just deplorable.
It's a rough one, man.
Yeah.
It's just getting old this year.
I love when you hear people sigh into the cat calls.
Fucking old.
It's like, what am I doing right now?
Swear to God,
they're like tired of even being
like
mad.
Yeah, I come down to at this point. I'm pretty sure watch us lose to the fucking Patriots.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm gonna find whoever our goddamn O-line coach is. I'm gonna strangle him.
Pat,
I'm
what's
gonna
his
strangle
name?
that man.
Something Pat something.
Something, dude. I don't even.
And Robbie
What are the
Anderson, you
chances
can't
that-
catch the ball until the
Pat
game's on the
Meyer,
line.
I
Is that
think?
what this is? And then Darnold, we'll fumble, we'll throw a pick the first play of the game. How much did we lose by again? Yeah, right. Exactly. Those turnovers fucking cost us again. This
Fumbles.
shit's just got to be cleaned up.
Interceptions.
Do you think somebody from
there's
our
no
coaching
excuse.
staff
And we
gets let
appreciate
go?
the call, Josh. Say that again.
Yeah.
You think
Meyer.
somebody from our coaching staff gets let go, like an offensive line coach or like some small coaching
Right,
staff?
like to try to
Yeah.
make a point. You would think it was going to be Chase Blackburn until this week,
Right?
Yeah.
right? And all of a sudden, and the crazy part about this team is, and somebody put a good comment up about us playing discipline for the first 3 games and then not playing it now, is that like if you would have watched this game through the first 3 quarters and then cut it off and then woke up tomorrow and said, I'm going to go and podcast or talk about this game, you felt like you should wake up and say that this defense performed above, like carried the team, kept them in the game, scored on special. And then now we can't even say that. Like after the whole narrative that the defense was very good in this game got ruined in a quarter and an overtime.
Yeah.
Just like ruins. Because when Jonathan Vilma said, man, there's still time for them to go downfield and kick a field goal and win this game, I was like, gosh, 42 seconds. We would not feel that way if we were the ones getting the ball and someone just tied it up with us. We would have been like, oh, man.
Well, the Vikings did it last week, too.
Yeah.
Dude, I kind of wish that the field goal kicker would have made the kick instead of us going into overtime. Like, why? Like, it's even
it was like
more
once we lost
heartbreaking.
the coin toss, you were like,
Dude,
shit, this
It's
is done.
even more heartbreaking the way it was. They win the coin toss, they march right downfield and get a touchdown, and the guy takes his helmet off and flexes into the camera. Like it's
The third receiver on the team, like nobody
even
knows.
worse. But I wanted to make it a point to highlight the comment that I have on screen, because again, we're talking about how many Vikings fans there were in the stadium, and Rare Gamer 99 says it's talks like this. I go a long way to be at this game, and we just lose. Is why our stadiums aren't full. And I'll be damned if that ain't the truth. And you know what? We need to start putting more blame on David Tepper, I feel.
Well,
I really do think so. Because listen, man, because look, he did the process. This man said when he came in, he wanted to take a step back and try to understand all the things that he didn't know about football. But in doing that, he has been a day late, dollar short. He was late on firing Ron Rivera. He was late on firing Marty Herney. Then we brought in the head coach before we brought in the new GM, and it should be vice versa.
I know.
Now we're in the middle of the season. We've done all these moves, traded for CJ Henderson. We've traded for Stephon Gilmore. And then now here we are, and the Panthers have no offensive line help. And it's like, at what point, the past 3 seasons have been almost identical to one another, and David Tepper has been the owner through all of them. Why doesn't he need to take some blame for this?
Yeah, well, I don't. Because I don't feel like owners
really. Yeah, I mean,
do as much. Yeah, I mean, all right. So okay, I mean, I might be able to say, yeah, all right, late on the Marty Herney firing, right? Could have maybe accelerated this process some more. Maybe the GM and the coaching thing, I do agree, is a backwards. I think, and I've been very consistent in this, is that you bring them in together. You bring in the GM and the coach together, and they're a tandem that they live and die together. So now you don't fire. Now we don't move on from Matt Rule, and then Fitterer picks his coach, and then we got to. And it turns out Fitterer is also part of the problem. 3 or 4 years down the road, and you got to figure it out again that way. I think if you bring the GM in first, you hire the GM. Then together, David Tepper and Fitterer pick a guy that they believe in. And David Tepper says this is you get 5 years and you guys, or 3 years or whatever, is that no matter what, you live and die together. So don't be turning on this coach. You picked him. Don't be telling us it's Matt Rule's the problem, Scott, right? You picked him and y'all are together. You're married. But it's not that case. And so now what's going to happen is that if you get a losing season this year and then a losing season next year, then people are going to start calling for Matt Rule. And then Fitterer is now going to be in charge of the hiring process. And it's going to elongate. It just takes time. So, I think that's a valid criticism. But at the same time, I just don't think either, like what's going on this year has really much to do with Tepper, unless he is really linked to these quarterback decisions as much as some people have suggested.
I think so.
If we come and find that out and we say that this is – and man, I'm going to be pissed if I got to start saying we would be better with Teddy.
I said that earlier. I was like, I wonder if this is all –
I'm not there yet either, but
Joe Brady instead of Teddy.
How about this? To me, they might as well be the same motherfucker right now. Like they're an average, basic quarterback. And yeah, if you want to say that Teddy held on to the ball a little bit better and didn't turn over as much, fine. I'll give Teddy that, sure thing. But we're trying to get blood from a turnip here. It's not going to happen with either of those guys. With this offensive line,
that's what Tony's saying right there.
It's like this offensive line was never going to let Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, Cam Newton, PJ Walker, Will Grier. It wasn't going to let any of them have a chance to be successful here. And in my opinion, going back to David Tepper, this is where it's on David Tepper. Because this man's a billionaire. He's so used to getting what he wants right when he wants it. He expected to come in, make a few minor tweaks, a few minor changes every single year, and thought the Panthers were going to be a legitimate contender rather than truly committing to a rebuild and actually building the Panthers the right way and moving on from the previous generation. Now we're still dealing with the same old bullshit, not playing young players, terrible play calls on third down. We're handicapped by the quarterback, which we also have to move that down the road on when we're going to fix that as well. Dude, it's just a litany of bullshit, one on top of the other. And I think David Tepper needs to start taking his fair share of being so bullheaded on trying to win without committing to a genuine rebuild.
I really do think it's Tepper's fault. Tepper made the call on Teddy Bridgewater. I do believe that. But I believe it was more Fitterer and Matt Rule when it came to Sam Darnold. Because even in the Camp Confidential, they were talking about, the quarterbacks who are out there. He said, what do you guys think of Sam Darnold when they were sitting in the meeting? That didn't have anything to do with David Tepper. But I think it came down from Tepper that he wanted to move on from Teddy Bridgewater.
I think Tepper had a handing in getting Cam and Teddy out. But I don't think picking the player.
Now that I'll agree. He definitely had a hand in Cam leaving and Teddy leaving. But I believe he left it up to Fitterer and Rule on who they wanted to bring in.
Exactly.
But I do believe he wanted Deshaun Watson before all this crap went down with him and the whole
Stafford.
I think he wanted Matt Stafford above everyone.
I don't know about
that would have helped, but you know what? Matt Stafford would have been struggling behind this offensive
he would have been
line.
Getting killed.
Yes, he'd been dead by now.
Not as mobile as even Sam Darnold.
No,
I do think. Doesn't it make you? It's so funny how much 2 games can change an outlook. Right. Number one is is that we really started out better than we thought we were going to. Kind of, we kind of had the best case scenario start. The 3-0, and then you're going against teams like, all right, we lose to Dallas, no problem, and then you go Philadelphia and the Vikings. These are kind of, I would say, need to win games if you're going to have like a season that could potentially be a playoff season. Right, because I mean, people were thinking, man, playoffs are not. We're in the division hunt, things like this, and then just yesterday, you're hearing news that J.C. Horn might be trying to eye a comeback for the playoffs, and I felt so bad. I just wanted to tweet out. I did not do it, but with who? It's not with the Panthers, right? And then, but I was like, well, we might get on schedule against the Vikings, and not the case. The Vikings are a better team than people give them credit for. Let's go to the next call.
Before we go to the next call, Before we go to the next call, I want to thank Karen Choi because I am an idiot. I labeled this Eagles at Panthers post game for some reason.
Cody.
I'm just a moron, dude. I can't help it. Do you all not know this about me yet? Come on, dude. It might as well
and we
be
still got 144 people watching.
Right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
They're more forgiving. Well, at least you know what? You can be forgiven to us because we've had to deal. All of us have had to deal with this damn Panthers offense, and it was supposed to be good this year.
Really?
I didn't think. I mean,
they made improvements.
Really, yeah, and it's not. All right, let's go with this call.
I love this podcast. You guys are doing a great job. Keep pounding. Hell yeah, go Panthers. Also, I cannot wait to hear Tony's drunken analytics of this game. Also, Cody, I like your thoughts too. But yes, you do sound like a goddamn broken record. O-line. But you're not wrong. The O-line did look like shit this game. Fucking Sammy, dude. And come on, man. Sammy's got to be better than that. Wide receivers look like ass. I think they all had some fucking team popcorn before they came out. Their hands were greasy as shit. I don't think a fucking Randy Moss couldn't fucking catch some of those passes, man. I mean, it was fucking miserably fucking it was terrible. I can't even put it into words. That's how dumb this makes me feel. Like it's bad. But anyways, I hope Joe Brady gets fired. I hope Matt Rule gets fired. I hope Sam Darnold gets traded somewhere else. And hopefully we can find the solution to this fucking game. Go Panthers.
What is this? What are you guys' feelings about Matt Rule at this point? I mean, we've got a year and 6 games. Where are you guys sitting on him?
Next year is his hot seat, I think. If the season keeps going this way, next year.
Okay.
He's
I think Rule's got 2 more years at least. I really do. Because they gave him a 7-year deal. I don't think Tepper's going to walk the Rule like that. He may have
think about his performance though so far. How much is this on? I don't know if I'm going, man. The team doesn't look great coached from the top, but I don't necessarily feel like it's being greatly coached either.
No.
I don't know. Like right now, I keep like my mind keeps wanting to go to the offensive line, Joe Brady's inexperience potentially, and Sam Darnold's inconsistencies. I haven't started going to the Matt Rule part yet. Me personally, are you guys starting to like say, man, this is because of a part on him?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's part on him, but I think they'll get rid of Joe Brady first, and they'll change some other coaches before they really start hammering down on Matt Rule.
You think Fitter is like elbowing Temper? Like, hey, see, that's the guy you picked?
Nah,
I hope not.
I think him and Rule are closer than what people think.
Yeah, I'm not ready to give up on Rule. I'm not. I'm not even entirely ready to give up on Sam Darnold yet. Now, it was a lot easier for me to say that 2 days ago, or yesterday. It's not.
You can't
really,
give up on a guy who doesn't have an O line. I mean,
yeah.
I don't care what quarterback you have. You don't got no O line, you ain't got shit.
Exactly.
But the problem is that you know what? It doesn't matter. Is that's what he's going to have to play behind.
Yep.
And you're in the NFL. And is that it is what it is at this point. I do think it's going to be interesting, Cody, when we come up here on Wednesday and debate when it's time to tear this team apart and just fire sale it for the future.
And you know what? Now that I think that we can all agree that what we have seen from Scott Fitterer is that the age of Marty Hurney is done. Fitterer is willing to make some deals, and we know this about him. And, last year we were having this discussion. People kept on getting so mad because I said we should have lost to the Washington football team. Or no, there was one of those games that we won and we should have lost because it would have ended up, Washington. We would have ended up having the number 3 pick in the draft. And yet, again, there's that talk about tanking. I don't think that you tank from a football field perspective. The players they're never going to go out there and lose on purpose. The coaches are never going to go out there and call bad plays on purpose. But from a front office perspective, you can start to look to trade away future assets and make moves to give you more picks and more money to build for the future. And if the wheels start to come off like it looks like they already have, I'd be very interested to keep an eye on Scott Fitterer and see when the fire sale starts.
Especially if you have a sense, of who you're not going to be able to sign long term. Right?
Speaking of fire sale, exactly what you said, Tony. Has anybody given any thought that he may actually try to trade Brian Burns?
Nah, I don't see it.
I mean, think about it now. Hassan Reddick has been the one that's been putting up the stats. Brian Burns was everybody's talking point at the beginning of the season, but other than actually free to the quarterback sacks, Brian Burns really hasn't done anything.
I mean, he's missed a few.
That's the thing. We don't like to say it, but he's like he's missed he's been there, and then they escape like today.
He's missed a ton.
This happened in the very first play or one of the early plays in the Dallas game too. I think we got time with Burns though. Is that what year of his contract is he in? Actually,
his 5th-year option. We can pick up his 5th-year option after this season, isn't it right, Cody?
Yeah, I believe so. Because 2019 was the year we drafted him, right? Or no, I think it was 18.
Yeah, 18.
Because I remember
big contract.
He's
not getting like big defensive end like Garrett money, is he?
No, he's going to want big money.
He's going to want it, but I don't know if he's going to get it though.
2019 is when it was drafted.
But that's why I'm thinking if they're going to move on, they're going to want to bring Hassan Reddick back because, again, he's a rule guy. If you can package Brian Burns up and say, okay, potential, because he hasn't missed a lot of time, but he really hasn't produced at the rate that everybody thought he would Fitterer consider moving him depending on what he could get for him?
I mean, I think you could trade anyone depending on what you get for him.
Can I just say
I mean, what about Reddick? What if you start talking about us trading Reddick or
Reddick's a rule guy. He's not going anywhere.
This will sound even more crazy than
but is
the
he a
Brian
hitter,
Burns one. What about if you don't think you're going to be able to afford DJ Moore?
Yeah. That's a possibility too.
Tony, how about this? There isn't a player on the football team that I'm like shedding a tear for if they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
Even like
I think DJ, I think DJ's grown. I mean, maybe it's tough to say that today because he had a fumble. I mean, but he got it looked like it got just.
But listen, I don't want people to think that I'm saying like, or that I just don't like anyone on the football team, and that's not what I'm saying. But if it's DJ Moore, again, my philosophy extends to the running backs and the receivers, kind of the same way. A lot of them come through the draft. Why are you paying a bunch of big time money for them? So now you're going to have DJ Moore's contract and McCaffrey's contract.
I know.
Like that's bad for business, man.
And Robbie Anderson's.
And dude,
they should never sign him.
And Dante Jackson, if you want that, is that there is a point that you got to wonder, and the reason I brought this up is because Cody said the age of Marty Herney is gone. And what Marty Herney would do is just play it out with these people.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, it didn't work out well. And then now we're starting over next year. Instead, right now, I think that there could be a sense. We've seen the eagerness to move and make moves on play, and think about long term, right? CJ Henderson, value, right? Thinking about with the time on his contract. So you got to think almost if that's such a good move, if people celebrated the CJ Henderson move, not because you got a first round talent with time on the contract and that you might be able to develop him and get him to be a player that you thought he can be. If you celebrate that concept, you should also, in theory, celebrate selling players that you don't think you're going to be able to re-sign. And getting value out of them. And at some point, you can't re-sign everybody, right? Nope. I mean, we know that. And that's where Dave Gettleman talked. He had some good sound bites. And he said, sometimes you got to let a big dog walk, right? And at this point, we're going to get to the end of the season. You're going to be like, well, we got Stephon Gilmore, right? Do you re-sign him? We don't know, right? AJ Bouye, maybe. I don't know what his contract was like. Dante Jackson, DJ Moore, Hassan Reddick. You might extend. Maybe you should just extend Brian Burns now.
Yeah, I mean,
but again, how much?
Tony, you don't have to extend DJ Moore this offseason. He's going into his
get one more
option.
year.
Yeah, he's going into his fifth-year option.
Well, yeah. Any of these guys that got the fifth-year option, you're kind of thinking of it like what Darnold was, right? Is you get the value of the fifth-year option. So maybe that makes them more of a lucrative trade target. I just don't know if you really get a lot of value for a wide receiver in a trade. But trading Hassan Reddick or defensive end, like Kansas City's got to be dying for something. What
did Minnesota get for Diggs?
Oh,
they got a first.
Yeah,
they got a first and a couple other picks.
I mean,
God, crazy how 2 games can spark a conversation like this.
That's why I like football.
We're gonna.
Yep.
All right.
That's why I like football.
Hey guys, it's Joey. This game was
painful.
There are so many ways you can go with this game. Frankie Luvu is awesome. Our defense is awesome. Our offense sucks dick. Our special team sucks dick. And I don't think our coaches know what to do aside from Phil Snow. So, that being said, and wasn't I don't know, I think G-Baby said this, like, you can't really comprehend what G-Baby says. It's like being on a roller coaster. You just know it's fast and awesome, but you can't really comprehend what it's doing when he calls it. I think he said something about that he didn't agree with the Robbie Anderson signing his ass. Dude, and you might never hear me say this again. I never thought I would say this now. But he might be right. So, and in his honor, boyka, boyka, boyka! So,
wait until his
yeah,
Tuesday
I don't know
call.
what
Wait
the hell
until
that
G
was.
Baby's Tuesday call. I
If
told
he
you so.
Won in overtime. I don't even know how the show would have turned out if he would have won in overtime. Yeah, Robbie Anderson caught that touchdown, but dude, that guy is like, we should have paid him pennies. We should have paid him in Takis or some shit. Anyway, guys. Wow, wow,
wow.
Sorry.
Shout out to Joey the Blind Panther, man.
I missed that whole call because I heard him say about a dude sucking dick, and I just had to leave the room.
Well, you also heard that he was, and there's some wisdom in G Baby's emotions at times, right? I mean, like, it's just emotional. It is, but wait until his Tuesday call. I bet you it is going to be just.
How about this man right here? C for C Dog in the chat. He's been saying this shit all year, and we've been calling him a troll, calling him a Falcons fan, calling C Dog all this shit. Hey, talk your shit, champ. Talk your shit, man. Because right now you're looking right down a motherfucker, bro. So I mean, what else can you say, man? We're looking really, really bad right now.
500 yards of offense. Now I know that has an overtime period attached to it, so it's not just 4 quarters. But
that's true.
That's the thing is we can't. We thought our defense was like potentially going to get just better and better as the season went on, and it just hasn't. So like you can't even really compliment the defense at this point. We got one last call. If we want to just round this out and then give out our game balls and stuff, dab on them and get out of here. All right.
Fucking great game. I know tough ending. I know there's gonna be a lot of negativity, and rightfully so. There were a lot of things that didn't go well. But first, I want to start off. Fans were fucking great this weekend. Oh man, I'm telling you, people. At least my section, like people were getting loud. People were like getting with me. Like, I don't know, it felt like you jarring back and forth from the Vikings. Like the more they cheered, the more we cheered. It was fucking awesome, man. The energy was so much better than last week, and I was loving it. Even when, oh my god, especially towards the end of the game, man, I was telling them when fucking Terrace Marshall went out. I was like, have to step up. I mean, how could that final drive from the 4-yard line on 4th and 10, throw a 50-yard bomb, get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion? How does that not make you nuts? I'm telling you, this is a turning point for this offense. I'm telling you. We are still playoff contenders. We're not going to win the division, but we are playoff contenders. And I want to hear y'all talking about the fucking draft. It is week fucking 6, and we're 500. We can do anything from here. Anything. We're 3-3. It's week 6. We got the Falcons and the Giants. If we can go into the bye week 5-3, I'm feeling good. We get Stephon Gilmore, CJ Henderson will be more involved. Damn, I don't know if Justin Burris is going to be able to come back, but I'd love to get Justin Burris back in safety. I'm telling you, boys, don't give up on this team just yet. Oh man, it's a problem. They're not getting up the field. Today really showed it. The Eagles, it's like, Sam threw 3 receptions. But this time, no excuses. That's when you got to dig deep. This team still has me really fucking excited. There's some things that aren't great, but we're working on it. We're 3-3, and I'm telling you, I've been waiting on this fall. I've been waiting for a fucking drive like this all season, man. The Eagles, I was waiting. They kept throwing interceptions. This week, I'm telling you, turning point of the entire season is this game right here. And Ian Thomas stepping up and making that catch is huge for his confidence and the team's confidence. I hope we'll let Joe Brady and Matt Rule get our tight ends more involved. I'm telling you, I know that interior offensive line is dog shit. If we put Brady Christensen in at one of the damn cars, that would be nice. But I'm saying positive. This team has a chance for the playoffs, and Sam is not. He's got a shot to be special. He's not there yet, but he's shown me some glimpses today that made me feel a lot better. If we just lost that game 35-17, I would try to bring the positive vibes, but I don't think it would. But listen, great fans today, great fight at the end. Keep pounding, boys.
Keep pounding, man.
I like the positivity and
glass half
some
full.
things. Is that
optimistic prime.
Yeah. the thing though is that and I do agree in some ways is that or maybe I won't say agree with the potential playoff part, but Sam Darnold's waking up at the end. You said that he doesn't have any dog in him or enough dog in him. He didn't quit. I mean, and a lot of that drive, that final drive was just all on him. Right. I mean, is that he beat him with the legs. He threw the laser down the middle to Ian Thomas out of 4th and 10. Oh my! It seemed like the game was over right then.
It was really nice.
Yeah. Then he hits DJ Moore and under pressure and duress, and I think that they're at that last drive where showed some resiliency. Now then the defense comes out and lets them go back down the field twice ultimately, right? The defense today was disappointing. I don't know how I gave up. I don't know how my broadcast would go in and out at times, like in the third, just because of buffering and you're on the road. And then I was like, man, we had just gone. I think we had just scored a defensive. We had the punt block touchdown or whatever. And I was like, man, we just went up. We're up. And then all of a sudden we're down 2 touchdowns. By the time the broadcast came back into view. So there were some problems there. We haven't been able to put together complete team performances. The thing I don't agree with is that, we haven't beat the team. The first 3 games, I was tired of people saying we ain't played anybody because you can only play who's on the schedule. But at this point, we haven't beat anybody either. Worth a damn. And I felt like the
Saints, and that's it.
Yeah, I felt like we should have been able to beat the Eagles. I feel like the Vikings are a team that's a little bit better than I thought going into the season. They turned out to be they're kind of a scrappy team in a certain way. Their defense is playing a lot better than it was last year. They have you're still waiting for the Kirk Cousins roller coaster to come off the tracks, and it just hasn't at this point. But our team hasn't done anything to impress me yet.
No. We were talking about earlier, won't they run more of a fast-paced offense? Just hurry up and get on the line.
And then the breakdowns that I was starting to think in the first 3 games of this season, I was not seeing the play clock trip down to zeros. I thought that Sam Darnold looked to have pretty much a command of the play calling and the huddle. I thought things were coming off better than they were last year. But no, back to square one again. Didn't we burn 2 timeouts consecutive today?
He tried
to.
Yeah, we did at the end of the second quarter. Yeah, it was damn near happy.
They gave it back to us because we did it back to back. And we got penalty. Because you can't do that.
Oh God. I think that if we would have found a way to win today, we could have said, man, this team's got a lot it still has to improve upon. But this was a win that could give us some momentum into 2 more winnable games with the Giants and the Falcons. And right now, I tell you this is we will probably be favored in those games, but I don't all of a sudden just feel like we're going to go in there and whoop these teams' asses.
No. How are we feeling about the rest of the schedule? Our next 3 games are the Giants on the road, the Falcons on the road, and then we get the Patriots at home.
Is CMC supposed to come back for the Falcons game?
No, for the Patriots game.
Maybe for the Patriots.
That's when he would be eligible to come back.
Okay.
Right. Doesn't necessarily mean he will.
Exactly.
Somebody if we lose to the fucking Falcons, I'm gonna cry. If we lose to the Falcons, and I could see it happening.
If we lose to the Falcons at home, I'm gonna cry because I'm gonna be at that game.
Fuck, man, what happened, dude?
I'm gonna be pissed if we lose to
bro.
the Patriots because I'm up here in Patriot country. So
yeah,
Dude,
I tell you that's why it's winning today would have made me feel better about.
Yeah, he's
right
got
now,
another
I just
interception.
we're gonna kick everybody's ass. We need to kick everybody's ass. The other, I did have one question before you go, Cody, and we give out that. What is the significance of them putting Christian McCaffrey on IR? I saw a lot of people come out and say we should have done this from the beginning. What would that have done? Would it have just allowed us to bring a player up from the practice squad? Is that it? Like, I mean, like, really, what would it have changed him being on IR versus not being
a player up from the practice squad? But Tony, I kind of think that the Panthers fucked around and tried to force him back too fast because they panicked about what their offense would look like without him. And we tried to work him back into training, and he was halfway, but he wasn't full go. And then all of a sudden he's injured again, is out for Philly, and then now they're putting him on IR. Like, why didn't you already do this? And what was the hamstring injury? Just worse than what we were previously told it was. And again,
if you thought he could come back last week, why, or you were starting to think he could come back last week, why are you already knowing that he can't come back in 2 weeks?
100%.
It sounds like the training staff told Matt Rule it wasn't as bad as it was, and then they tried to bring him back, and he re-aggravated it. So they just said, okay, now we're just going to shut him down.
Dude,
who would have known these soft tissue injuries? You think this is that like if it's a knee, blowout a knee. Now I'm talking about, you're getting scared because how long the timeline is. But I'm still looking at crazy with what's going on with Curtis Samuel, that groin, and with the Washington football team. You said these injuries turn out that sometimes they can be just as debilitating as like a major injury at something. At least those timelines maybe are a little bit firmer in the way that they know how to scientifically measure them. And then I guess now no Shaq either. How long is it going to be with Shaq with the plantar fasciitis? Right, I think that.
I don't know.
This team's getting crippled.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going to say, Diggs just got an interception with 2.5 minutes left for a pick six. Cowboys
Who
are
did?
up.
Oh, Cowboys are up. Oh,
wow. He's going to be defensive player of the year.
He has 7.
I'm on Red Zone right now, and they're showing all the Broncos fans leaving the stadium. Right now, it's 34-17. Yeah, by the way, for everybody wishing Teddy Bridgewater was back, go look how Homeboy's been these past 3 weeks.
And see what he's up to now.
Have you guys noticed that the Panthers haven't won a game and they've lost the last 3, but the Denver Broncos have also lost the last 3
and they're about to lose another one.
I know,
dude, gosh. I'm telling you, man. That's why I said there's really no difference now, to me, in my opinion, between Sam and Teddy. Like, they're both quarterbacks with a lot of inherent flaws. Sam has better arm talent. He's more mobile. He's more willing to throw downfield.
He's just younger.
Teddy could not have made that 4th and 10.
Oh, hell no.
But they also, but at the same time, he might not have had to, right? Like, I mean, it might have been a 3rd and 6 and that he needed to make at that point. But let's give out some.
Receivers were dropping the ball all day.
Who's the player of the game? True. Who's your dab on them player of the game? We'll go around the horn. We'll start with Drew. Who's your player of the game?
Player of the game? Oh, man, that's rough.
No, I got mine. Easy.
I'm trying to think. Who would be the player of the game? Frankie Louvu.
That's mine.
Oh, that's a good one, Drew.
So Louvu for Drew and Kevin. Cody, who you got?
I'll pick a new one. I'll go with Taylor. The corner. He played excellent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys got us.
No,
Keith
28.
Keith Taylor. Number 28.
Never even heard
that. Steve Smith.
He was all over guys. He was all over guys.
I'm thinking of Sean Taylor because they retired his jersey.
Oh, jersey, yeah.
Rashard from PMP was talking to Keith Taylor a lot this during the draft season.
Yeah.
So mine's simple, and I feel like I've already picked it a bunch this season. I'll do it again. It's Dante Jackson, y'all. It's Dante Jackson. The dude is always running around. I don't care that he
picking all
gave up that
defensive players.
one big play. No, who on our offense deserves
I
it?
know.
If you name
I mean,
one
we gave up
player that
500
deserves
yards
it.
of defense, and everybody, and I'm picking a defensive player too.
Yeah, how could you not? I mean, dude, Dante Jackson, I don't care what anybody says. Dante Jackson right now is the heart and soul of this Panthers football team.
Yeah.
He makes more to this football team, and I was about to say more than Christian McCaffrey, but damn.
I would say Shaq Thompson's more of a heart of the defense, but
no, I don't think
Hassan
so.
Reddick
man.
has been pretty damn good. Like Hassan Reddick, I want to give it to him. Mine goes to AJ Booyaka. This guy's actually, man, he's came in and he's played pretty darn well for us. For not like we didn't get to see any of him at any time because of the suspension. I felt like, and all of a sudden this guy comes in at a time we needed him to play well, particularly now because CJ Henderson, right, has been. Did he play today? He was hurt.
No,
right?
that's another thing. He didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't go today because of his shoulder.
Yeah.
Isn't it bizarre that we thought going into this season that we didn't have any corners, and all of a sudden now we have Dante Jackson playing top. Now this Keith Taylor guy is playing pretty well as a rookie. Then you got AJ Booyaka playing pretty well. Like all of a sudden we got all these corners and we again no linebackers.
Yeah. Now you got to fit Stephon Gilmore in there somewhere next week.
I know. I'd say
0
trade him.
sacks, man.
Y'all watching this Pats game?
I know it's down to the last drive, man.
But he just threw a 75-yard pass touchdown on Diggs. Mac Jones. They just scored again.
Oh God.
It's going back and forth in the last 3 minutes.
And by the way, the Panthers gave up 4 sacks and got none of their own.
Oh,
so
wow.
here's to
Redding didn't get one?
Here's to hoping.
They didn't get any sacks today.
That CJ Henderson plays next week and Stephon Gilmore plays, and that allows the Panthers to play man coverage because our defensive line suffered heavily when we were not able to do so.
We're
Who's
definitely going to get some
towel
bigger
of shame
touchdowns.
go to? Everybody, a towel of shame.
Oh, Robbie
Howdy
Anderson.
can't.
I'll go
Robbie
DJ
Anderson,
Moore.
offensive line.
I'll go
DJ Moore?
He had
Yeah,
a couple
because
of
of the
drops,
fumble?
but not as much as Robbie.
Not as much as Robbie, but again,
No.
I'll say this. He had that big fumble. He also had that time where Sam threw him a nice pass on 3rd down, but even the commentator kind of mentioned he didn't want to catch it because he saw that he was about to get blown up.
Granted, he made a business decision.
Yeah, he made a business decision. Now, granted, I don't know that that's the truth, but it looks like it was probably pretty true. I don't know, man. I wasn't impressed with DJ today. So no one is above criticism. And no, all right. Now I was about to change it. But I'll keep it because I feel like someone else is probably about to pick that guy. But yeah,
Mine
DJ
is not a guy. It's I'm gonna give the towel to the defense. How is that even possible, right?
But towel.
I'm gonna say this is no sacks, like you guys said, and the allowing them to march down the field to set up for a field goal, right? Like at the end of the 4th with 42 seconds left, ridiculous, and then allowing them to march down the field in overtime, allowing these 500 yards. They just didn't do, despite individually some players playing well. As a unit, they did not dominate enough, and we're going to need them to just be like holding teams to 15 if we want to win. So I give it strangely to the defense, the best part of our team.
15 points.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what they're going to have to do for us to be awesome.
It's a hell of a thing.
But, I know, it's a big thing, but like
the Ravens,
right?
Well, I don't want them to be that. I mean, I don't think it should be like a requirement, but I think it's just the fact of the matter at this point is that the offense is sputtering so badly. The offensive line is so bad that it's not going to get better. We could give it to Joe Brady and all of this, but right now, I mean, we need to be a defensive team.
Yeah.
So, sadly, we weren't enough. I mean, we allowed them, and it's really just at the end. I've given them some passes this year. I gave them passes last week against Philadelphia for being gassed. I gave them passes against the Cowboys for this.
Because we gave away like 3 turnovers, and it was only 12-10 game at one point. So it's like they were doing great.
They were doing it until the end. So that's my thoughts. Who were you going to say, Cody?
I was going to change it to Brian Burns.
Oh,
God.
Just because of the near misses, man.
Is anybody not gone?
I went.
Okay. All right. That's the C3 Panthers post-game show. I literally had to run up the stairs and just get here. I'm sure my wife is seething at me right now for just abandoning or like just dropping the suitcases in the living room and running up here. C3 Panthers post-game show. It is the Vikings at Panthers post-game show. I'll change all the titles once we get out of here. And I want to thank Kevin and Drew for stepping in and helping us at this moment, and you as well, Cody, for setting everything up and taking care of it. I just thought I was going to be home by 4:30, and it did not happen.
It's all good, man. We keep it rolling, man. We keep it rolling.
Be here Tuesday night, 9 p.m. We got Debate My Take, so go ahead and hit us up on Twitter, #C3 Debates, because we've got some good topics to go ahead and start to be thinking of. Also, I want to take a moment to just say that my thoughts are with our boy CK. His grandfather passed away, and I know that he has been dealing with that over the last couple of days, going through that. So, we're family here, man, and we miss you, and we hope that your family finds some peace in this moment. Cody, what do you guys say before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. Follow me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac. I'm good about conversating with people, so just hit me up. You can find my comments for drafttech.com, where I write comments for the Carolina Panthers. You can check me out there. And as always, man, the Friday free-for-all. Look, these are my Friday free-for-all bros right here, man, Drew and Kevin. And shout out to Nick earlier for coming on, too. People have been loving it, man. We've been having some fantastic discussions over there on the Friday free-for-all. And Tony, by the way, on the Friday free-for-all, I picked the Vikings to win. I thought they would. And
I picked them yesterday, and I picked them on the radio, dude. And it hurt my soul.
Dude, it hurt my soul, too. I was the only one. We had 10 people on the show. I was the only one that said, I don't see it. I don't see it, man. So I picked Minnesota. Check out that content, y'all. Slap the like button. We're still on the road to 3,000 subscribers. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. Tell a friend if you have any Panther fans that are looking for somewhere to come hang out and be a part of this discussion. Let them know about the C3 Panthers podcast. And, man, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. You already know what it is, man. Support the content.
All right, man. Take us out of here.
All right, Panther fans, keep pounding.
Keep pounding. We'll see you Tuesday.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.